Are we in? Are we not?
We're in.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
I will keep waving this hand
Hey.
as long as I need to until we're in.
Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to the Seven Sons, our 5e actual play live stream. Because I remember to keep Discord up so our faces don't freeze randomly. I am young Foxxii, your game maestro for the duration of the stream. I'd like to welcome you back to the lovely world of Neon Lights Roleplay. I have with me 5 incredible adventurers who are ready to take themselves back into the land of Zor'aa. I would like them to introduce themselves before I set us back within the realms of the story. So please, in the order that I call you out, tell the people who you are, who you are playing, where you can be found. And today's question is, of course, what would your character die for? Up first is the incomparable Mako Sky.
I am, what's my name again? I'm Dan. I'm Dan. I play Mako Sky, the possessed
What's my
suit
name
of
again?
armor,
What's my name again?
warforged rogue. And that's about the time she walked away.
Stop
from me.
it!
I'm
That's not
sorry.
my name.
That was Tate's fault.
Behave yourselves!
That was 100% my fault.
All right. Yeah, I'm Mako Sky, possessed suit of armor, warforged rogue. Things I'd die for: my friends, my honor, and mostly those two things.
Fair
And
enough,
my
fair
pride,
enough.
I
That's
guess.
two things that are fair to die for.
Not money? Wow. Character
Moving
growth.
From,
Well, my pride as a thief kind of involves money.
Moving from the incomparable
Yeah, wow.
Mako Sky over to the ever knowledgeable Midston Quad.
Hey, I'm Michelle. I'm playing Midstone Quaddle, our Quaddle folk wizard.
It's never
Um,
One was
I'm sorry. I have to actually like think about. But yeah. So Mitz is a she/her today. Please respect those pronouns.
Respect pronouns or get bopped.
E. But otherwise, don't look for me anywhere. But what would Mitz die for? Well, Mitz would die for a lot of things. And they're god now, but they can still die. At least some kind of deity. Yeah, Mitz would die for their friends. That's like the first one, I guess. Second one is, I guess keeping. If it was necessary to keep secrets, they die for that.
Necessary to keep secrets. That's good to know. Moving from the ever knowledgeable Midston Quaddle to the vigilant Ploy the Huntmaster.
Hey, I'm Lucian. I play our boy Ploy, our lizard folk that likes to throw things. And Ploy would die for his friends, Net, and probably keeping his sweet roll recipe secret.
Well, obviously that feeling was mutual.
That it was.
Moving from the ever vigilant Ploy the Huntmaster to, dare I say, the heart of the party, Zanari.
Oh, you. My God. Hello, everyone. It's me, it's Zor'aa. As per usual, I'm playing Zanari, or Z, the Kalashtar College of Spirits Bard. In terms of what she would die for, I mean, this is like really vague, but I feel like any type of like worthy cause in defending people who can't defend themselves is something that she would die for. Or yeah, like any labor of love that is incredibly genuine, like I think would be like kind of where it's at for her.
I think I agree with that.
Oh. Yeah, that's about it. Let's move on to Tate.
Indeed. Rounding out our roster is, of course, moving from the heart of the party, Zenari, to the warm coat of love that surrounds
Oh.
our
Ow.
adventurers and keeps them sheltered from a harsh desert wind. Wolf, please introduce yourselves to the friends.
Hello, my name is Tate Washburn, and I'll be playing Wolf, the shifter beast barbarian, who I'm giving just as much werewolf boyfriend energy as physically possible, which is why he is protecting just everyone in that warm coat of love.
Maximum
He's just
werewolf
excited. Exactly. He's just here to try and envelop everyone in a big warm hug and be interested in whatever they're doing. Yeah, as far as things Wolf would die for, I mean, first of all, he wouldn't think of it that way simply because he's never thinks about the fact that he might die about anything ever. But as far as things that he would throw himself into danger without considering the consequences of, because that's kind of how he does things, 100%. Any of his friends, often just random passersby, if he feels like, hey, that person doesn't deserve this shit. It's really more of this like general sort of balance of the world where his morality is maybe not exactly like ours, but it's very much if I think this person doesn't deserve that, or if you're doing wrong, I'm gonna do something about it. And if that results in Wolf's death, he will die without regrets. He's just like, nope, that's how it do.
Certainly something I can respect. And I guess that leaves us with me, who, if it hasn't been mentioned, I am young Foxxii, aka Big Foxxii, also known as your current and only favorite fox. And my job here is to show you people at home how amazing these 5 people are. That's really all I do here, honestly. However, I also have the job of bringing us back into the world. So, last session saw you all addressing some rather innate peril, as in the aftermath of discovering that your nemesis Kali had slain not just a god beast, but the god called Torah, Nikali and Mako Sky both passed out briefly. From there, well, while Nikali remained shrieking in pain for a few days, Mako, you had a visitor. And you and this visitor had a...
Most unwelcome one.
Certainly. Well, welcome aside, you and this visitor had a conversation, and thus, it was decided that you would be given a choice. And amidst all the options presented to you, you chose to keep playing the game. The odds, well, only climbing higher. And your opponent, well, the god of tricksters themselves. Coming out of that, though, you awoke to find that your friends were doting over you, and more so that Nikali had been asleep and shrieking in pain for 3 straight days, as the energy of her god was forcibly drained from her, a being so suffused with Kaltora's holy energies. Desperate to solve this, Mitz tried to purify a blood gem, and just as you awakened, it appeared she was able to do so, creating this golden gem that could contain divine essence. You all attempted to use it to save your friend, not knowing what could happen. And Nikali vanished, along with the gem. Not having much time to process, you all discovered another revelation. Joshua was confronting Kali alone, digging into the teleportation spells of Shah and Lady Temin. And as a reminder, you all knew that tapping into that magic would mean that they certainly couldn't do so again for a while. You all were able to come to his aid. You confronted the mad beast that is Kali, the Emir killer. And just as all seemed to be, maybe not lost, but certainly desperate, your dear friend Nikali returned to you, now clad in the armor and the godly essence of Shayada, Lady of Death. You turned away Nikali only for now, and now you all sit and let net all roads toward the last god-killing gem, toward Shen, the god beast wolf must kill, and most certainly towards stopping whatever Kali's madness will lead to. All those roads point to the tower. And so, you all, I'm going to effectively allow you to understand how this is going to work as we set you all back in. You're all still currently at the bluff. I'll assume you're all probably making your way back towards the base to save you all the time of having to trek it by foot because you can't teleport.
Hey, but didn't Durga appear?
Oh, that's
Can
true.
we just
Durga
take
did show
Durga?
up. You're right.
Let's just take
Thank
Party
you for
Whale.
reminding me. So that's fair. All right. So I'll say. All right. So let's do it that way then. So you're all on board Durga. You're all on board your dear bloat whale friend, and let me get some Durga settings. Give me a moment.
Ooh.
Give me a bit. Let me set the mood. You feel me? Let me set it right. Hold on. We're not done yet. We're very much not done. There's some wind in it. More wind in there.
After all, nothing says Seven Suns quite like Durga.
Durga the ineffable.
The heart and soul of the team.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. I think that's just about everything. Should all be planned properly. Perfect. Love that. So, you're all currently aboard Durga, and you're all maybe licking your wounds and recovering and talking through things. You all certainly have this scene to yourselves to travel back towards the base. So I'll let you know how things will work in the I'll put you all in the scene. And please note for the audience that I'm borrowing part of this mechanic that I'm using here from Matthew Colville's Kingdoms of Warfare, because it's a great system. You all effectively, when you return, will have time to not so much order, but direct parts of the Storm Children in certain ways. How that will translate is you'll decide what you want to order either yourself or parts of the Storm Children to do. I'll determine what appropriate skills will have to be rolled or offer other certain skill checks rolls that are appropriate. You can fill in the time with whatever roleplay you need to as the weeks or days play out as you prepare for that. And then sort of we'll start wrapping things up. What I will say though is, while certain smaller actions might not take you to make certain roles, like small things like I'm gonna go talk to this person and go deal with this thing. Any larger thing you'd like to do that I say, okay, make a roll to see how this plays out. You guys get 6 of those actions total. So you get 6 things to do to prepare. That can be contacting someone in efforts to directly access the resources. I will say, if you're contacting someone for just generic contacting them, like not looking for direct information or for something from them, that's not an action. But if you are trying to say hey, person we know, can we get this thing from you? That's one action I'm gonna make you roll for. If you are sending forces of Storm Children to go do a thing, whether it's clear a town, scout a garrison, set up defenses, that's an action. If you're trying to rally troops or anything like that, go to a town, spread your name, anything like that, that is an action. Or, if you are trying to, I would say, anything else that involves something you would send troops or forces to do. Please note that during the time any of this is happening, you all can also engage in your own actions, which don't consume these 6 actions you guys have. So you have 6, for lack of a better term, domain actions you can use the Storm Children for, and along that time you can do whatever you want. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Other points of clarity will become clear as I need you guys to make them, but that'll happen as you guys do. For now, you are all aboard Durga. The first mate is with you. He's handling the helm right now. Other pirates are around, mostly flying about in various stations. Plenty are on the harpoon guns, trying to keep tabs on the horizon. They made a pretty quick transit here and weren't trying to be very stealthy. But as they ascend towards the cloud line, pushing you guys through the water, they were to kind of keep to a level where even your colleagues' forces wouldn't be able to keep track of you. You all have a scene amongst yourselves and your colleagues to just collect, discuss what might be happening, or maybe gain the insight towards what you could consider planning. I'll set this scene. You know what? Let's leave that open to you all. I'm gonna roll a d10, and it's gonna be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of thing. Whoever it lands on, you tell me where the party decides to have a meeting with the power on the Clear?
Oh.
It's a 1. That makes it Lucian.
Like I said, uh-oh.
All right, Captain, where are we having this important meeting?
Holy
Captain?
war shit.
Hell yeah.
Captain.
Wolf says. Yes,
So we're
Ah,
having this
we were.
meeting. We're in that little library that we were in last time when Mitz grew those chairs out of the ground. Or, well, ground. That also has the hole in the side of it. Because,
That's got
you
fixed,
know,
don't worry.
yeah.
I was about to say, Wolf would walk in that room and then look at that hole and be like,
No, don't worry, that's gotten fixed.
There's a big map table in the middle
Mm-hmm.
that has a map on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not really looking at the map.
Nope.
We've all got little coasters. And on the coaster, there's a plate. And there's a plate with, like, a single sweet roll. And then also just, like, a beer or a wine or whatever drink of choice each person asked for. And we're all sitting around. It's us. Got Nikali. Got Joshua. Just kind of looking at each other. You know, because a lot of things happened. Nobody really knows what happened to each person. And so we're just kind of looking at each other thinking, so who's gonna say something first?
Yeah, I think that's y'all. Go ahead. Nikali's there. She is looking back and forth between, I'm gonna say you, Ploy, and Joshua. Kind of maybe being like, well, you're the captain, you're strike commander, so. But then, when she's like kind of sitting like quietly like looking back and forth. As neither of you says anything, she just bridges her nose. It's just like, and says nothing, waiting for the rest of you, one of you to pick up. And I'll leave the scene to you all, honestly. Go ahead. As the car goes by. Thanks, car.
So Mitz isn't saying anything, but I think Mitz is gonna take that time to ruminate over that really corrupted energy that Kali felt, or like that Kali was giving off, and just think about all of the other instances that she's noticed this corrupting force, and just think back and think.
Wolf will break the silence if no one else is, but
I will give me one moment if you don't mind.
yeah, okay, sure.
Just to make sure I can give an ad description here. Mitz, you're thinking back on this feeling that was given off through Kali that you've certainly felt before. It's come from a few different places. You remember it most, well, off of the blood gems at first, but the feeling is very similar. It's this, when you reach out to kind of touch the magical ether that you now know surrounds all of creation, it honestly feels like a hole, like a space where something should be, but there's just nothing. Like the tendrils of energy you feel out with just recoil back from this. That's sort of the feeling you remember most, is that the way your physical or magical being recoiled away from it. Like to touch it was to touch nothingness. And I think it's
Almost like those handcuffs, actually.
And I think it's as you're thinking about that feeling that Wolf decides to break the silence however he does. Go ahead.
Oh, well, he's just sort of looking around. I think, is there coffee available? I think Wolf is actually feeling like coffee. It's a treat for him. But anyways, as he's just drinking his drink, he'd look around and be like, so, we're definitely here to talk about killing Kali, right? That's this meeting, for sure? Yes, please, can I do that? I call dibs. I know, to Joshua, I know you and I are gonna have to have an argument about this, but please? You can help. I'm not selfish like that.
Joshua just kind of folds his head into his hand, just... Can we? Kill her, I mean. Can we?
The gods
Probably.
themselves can
I mean-
die. Everything dies. Just a
Yeah,
matter
Wolf
of
would be
when.
looking to Mitt to be like, yeah, see? Our god expert says so. Plus, isn't that my whole job title? God
I was
Slayer?
about to say.
Well, yes, you are
I mean, we
certainly
could do
the
with
slayer
probably
of
him.
gods, but by the gods, what is she now? She's not a god, nor a god beast, yet she's capable of slaying either.
Oh, that's the problem with gods, huh? They always underestimate mortals.
Your point's well served.
Honestly, honestly, I don't really care to think about what she would be considered magic-wise or autonomy-wise. I don't care. The idea that maybe she can't die is not something we should even consider. Otherwise, what's the point in planning any of this?
You have a point. Speaking of, what are we planning?
Well, we know that the tower has some sort of magic thing, right? Well, gestures to like the gauntlets he has on, that either she's already using or will power up, but she's likely to be there. That's at least a place to start.
Yes, certainly. Begin our final assault at the most fortified location in all of Zor'aa. Brilliant planning, Wolf. And how do we do that? Nikali's at this point kind of like
A fortification needs supplies, right?
continue, Mitz.
You can always
Oh,
take
continue,
down
seriously.
their resupply lines. Sorry.
That's right.
Harrow them, you're saying? As in, put them to siege?
Well, siege probably wouldn't be a great idea considering the prisoners would starve first. But, if we could free them, and have them rise up, we'd have a much larger force.
Or
How would we do that?
Yeah.
no. We don't have a larger force. We have an inside force. We put them to siege while someone sneaks in. If you all can start freeing the prisoners while we're at the gates, Kali has a problem on two fronts. No army can fight a battle on two fronts that easily.
Well, we'd have to do something about all those Hashari and their far
Do
sticks.
the Storm Children by themselves have enough might to mount such a siege?
Right now? No, certainly not. That does not mean we don't have time to prepare. There are favors we can call in. Perhaps allies we can speak to.
I do
we
recall
ever hear
us
about the
liberating a
Iberians?
few slave camps a while back.
Hmm.
Perhaps we might be able to act on that gratitude.
Also, the forest people.
The Iberians.
Yeah, like Mitch was saying.
I have a question.
Indeed.
Why were the Hashari working with the Emir, and why are they working with Kali now? I mean, obviously with Kali, it's mostly probably the hive mind and not wanting to die, but what does she have in the Hashari Queen?
That is
Or with
not
her.
something I
Nice.
know. But I sense the lead you are following. The Queen siding with the Emir is not entirely unprecedented, but I can't think of one reason, at least one evident one, why she'd side with the Dominion. More evidently, why she'd continue to side with them with a madwoman like Kali on the rampage now. It's either base survival or... No, there has to be something more.
Didn't... What's that worm's name? The cowardly one, the one who also is actually surprisingly good at magic. What's his name again?
Oh, hand takes steel. Hand takes steel.
Indeed.
Almost love that. Yeah.
Right, wasn't he the one who was bringing blood gems to the Emir in the first place?
Steel was indeed the first to handle the trade of the blood gems. It is said that Wadal was the first domain to discover them, and Steel's mining operations were quickly converted to harvesting operations, for lack of better terms.
Because those blood gems and those handcuffs, they all have the same feel as Kali.
You'll see her bristle a bit at the mention of the handcuffs. I suppose that's not impossible.
Well, on the subject of those handcuffs, if we're raiding a prison with the intent of staging a prison break, we'll likely need a way to undo those restraints without having to rely on my admittedly higher than exceptional lockpicking skills.
That's certainly a valid point. I don't have many leads, but I know Tenman has been following something along that route. Perhaps when we return, after she's had some rest, we can discuss things with her.
Speaking of...
No,
oh, sorry, Wolf.
Well, actually, I was gonna ask the DM something, Tate. I want to roll insight on, like, if Wolf were just to, like, call Kali out on a 1v1, or surrender himself, is she going to, like... Is that really what she wants to do if Wolf helped get in with Mako simply by being like, I'm here, I surrender? Is she gonna draw that out? Does he have a few days, or is she just gonna kill him on sight?
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at it. It's me, Tate, ask DM. Me, Tate, roll insight. Go ahead and roll insight on that, Tate, it's fine. Why did y'all let me GM?
It's an 11.
You're the creative
You say
director
when
of
the-
Protect
boss, and you don't really
humanity,
get a choice.
become okay.
Yeah, that's fair, you guys got me there. Well, on an 11.
You convinced me as a GM to let you commit terrorism, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Got a point there.
In the game.
In a TTRPG, Twitch. Any case.
In Roblox.
In Roblox.
In a rob.
I'm gonna Roblox myself. Anyway. Alright, so on an 11, Wolf, you think about the possibility of fighting Kali, of like thinking like, if I walk up to Kali and just like challenge her to a 1v1, as you start thinking about that, you go on like this long tangent in your head. It's almost like if you could all see into Wolf's head, it'd be like small little like stick figure drawings of like you guys all like walking up to the tower, and then like Wolf sneaking in with Mako, and then like yelling at Kali, and then Kali yelling back, and then like going to the top of the tower, and then like clashing a bit, and then like you all doing whatever you have to do down here. It's kind of just like a vague soup as like Wolf, and then you find it's kind of like the scene focuses just only on you fighting Kali, and like the whole rest of the plan kind of becomes soup, and you're like, maybe that's not the best plan exactly. Actually, I think I might be focusing on trying to get that 1v1 going on. It's not that
Well, I guess...
don't know it won't work. It's more just that. It's more just that you're like, do I really, really want to do this as a plan? Or do I just really, really, really want to hit her in her stupid fucking face? Or is it both? It might be both. The trouble is, you're not certain you can distinguish that right now with that 11.
But I guess the question is more, if he walked up to the tower and said, I surrender, is that fight happening right then, or does he get a few days in prison? Like his sort of original plan before Kali became a whole thing was that?
I think it would depend on, and you would know from your close proximity you've had to her, I think it would depend on her humors. If she's feeling in a good mood, then probably.
That's not a good thing to bank on.
Never is.
The only thing Wolf would end up saying to this after a long, like, intense think of like, I probably shouldn't give myself up to Kali to go to prison.
Wolf.
Probably
Was the plan
not.
before it was Kali was just like, get myself arrested on purpose, they'd put me in jail. I will easily break out of jail because I have yet to find a cell that is not easily breakable, honestly.
It sounds like we should have gone to the tower earlier.
We couldn't have known.
Well,
And then we
Well,
wouldn't
things
have had all the great adventures we had already.
Yeah.
That's true.
The
No
real
sense
power
actually
was the friends
lamenting
you
it
made
now.
along the way.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Speaking of the tower,
Mm.
though, are there
Hmm?
people in the tower that we care about?
besides
All of the
slaves and
prisoners?
prisoners,
We want to break out? Yeah.
But are there any
Hmm.
specific prisoners who would be of greater relevance to us?
that's a good question.
Not that I
Does the
know
Storm
of off
Children
the top
have
of
any
my
data
head.
on who's being held at the tower?
Nikali just says, we haven't had agents get too close recently because of all the mess, but that is something we could devote some agents towards once we return to base, if that is a course you all believe we should follow. Out of game, that's me saying that would cost one of your actions.
Mhm.
Hmm. Well,
I mean, if we want to get in and break some people out, it would probably be good to know who those people are.
Or we could just
well,
be
I feel like you were. This is true. Well, I feel like you were getting onto something though about, like, you asked that question for a reason. What was your thought?
Oh, I mean, I was just thinking if the tower is just full of prisoners that are like that are just like criminals, we could blow it up for the greater good.
I do
The fact
know
you put that in air quotes is
blow up the
concerning.
tower with the prisoners in it?
Like I said, if
also
they
with
were
the
all,
guards
if
and
they were
everyone
all
else
bad
and-
people, but it sounds like, considering who the Emir were, that's not the case. So
Yeah, if you think about it, we were gonna get sent there, and I don't consider us to be like horrible people. So
Yeah, it's relative.
I mean, we've had our bad days.
we have
That's-
bad days,
yeah.
but
we've tangoed under the line couple of times.
You know, we've
Well,
done
he's
some
very
things.
much not saying
Bars
anything
bad.
as he's sitting here like.
Arson, vandalism, double parking.
I remember that.
tax evasion.
Hey, remember that
what a
bar fight we got
taxes.
into?
Oh yeah, we've come
What a
so
tax-
far.
From bar fights to god fights.
Yeah.
Is the natural
What is a
progression
god
of
fight
things.
if not a bar fight with a different venue?
yeah. Oh, hey, Nikali, what kind of air defenses does the tower have?
Well, as far as we know, the walls are loaded down with harpoon guns. I don't think they expect an aerial assault, as they tend to be more for prolonged sieges, but they're not toothless in that regard.
Gotcha.
Sounds like approaching on Durga won't necessarily be practical.
What if I got a really big shield and I landed on top of that on top of the tower from really high?
Well, that would deal with one of them.
We could always do a bombing raid, I guess.
And Josh just pipes
Again,
up.
the tower is full of people.
This is where Josh pipes up and just says, "We do have more than one bloatway."
That's true. We do
Yeah.
We said we'd keep the other one's safe, though.
Do we
Yeah.
not also have wyverns?
Joshua just says, "So we armor them."
Oh, that's true.
I mean,
And why?
Sounds like
Resources
a
for
lot of
that?
armor.
we can get the resources. It's just a matter
Okay.
of the time it might take to do so.
Mm.
Out of character, that's me again saying that's
This is
taking up one
amazing.
more
Yeah.
action.
Your actions.
Wow.
Dan, Reggie,
Some more.
Yeah. Speaking of blood gems and well, fancy ass magical items, Mitz is tapping on
Are we
the.
talking about that?
Hmm?
No, sorry, keep going.
No,
Mitz
I
is
think just Mitz has been thinking about that the entire time.
Oh, okay.
tapping on like the circle of divines, like, does anyone know what's up with those sand gems that the Emir had? Because they, as far as we know, they all died. But what the fuck do they actually do?
Nikali gestures to her forehead, where there was once a tiara that you all remember had a small gem on it. She says, "Well, I had one once. I now get my semi-immortality from another source, unfortunately. Well, or fortunately. Things can be worse.
Wait, do you still have the gem?
I don't.
Oh.
But I, and more importantly, looks over at Zanari, you know who does."
Heck, the player does not.
You should give your wife
That's
a
why.
Oh, hey, it's Big Sis.
So I'm what I'm hearing is the gem is not on this plane.
Oh, great.
That is true. However,
Huh.
I do know some about how the gems work. The sand-colored gems are a relic of a bygone era. It's believed they maybe came perhaps from the same civilization that once used the blood gems in a different way. I'm sure you all know the one. How they function is, well, unique. They are tied to the ley lines here in Zor'aa. They funnel intense, direct magical energy into the person that, well, wields them. It effectively makes them immortal as long as they have that source, but, well, immortality is relative. The unfortunate truth is, well, the stories you hear about the Emir are relatively overblown. As far as I know, none of them were fully immortal. Just hard to put down. That does raise the possibility that, even given the attack on Al Saul, mayhap not all of them are dead. I will do some independent looking on my own. Send out some of my personal scouts. Whatever we come with, I'll let you know. That's me saying that won't take up an action.
Okay.
I don't know why me out of character is just
Getting a
me
lot of-
whispering. That's just how I'm doing that from now on. I don't know.
Getting some Foxxii ASMR here. All right.
I know.
Welcome to Neon Lights Roleplay. I'm your host, Young Foxxii.
And for the next 3 hours, I'm gonna be your dungeon master.
Oof.
Get me out of here. Save me, somebody.
Well, at least if some of them are alive, maybe we can see if they have some troops they can give us.
If they're alive.
If.
If they're alive.
Wondering if we can salvage
Well-
some of those stones. It might be useful.
Well, the one from Recall, he seemed like a cagey gentleman. If any of them survived, he might be the one who does. Who did. And he's not to be trusted, but definitely understands that we have a common enemy, I'm sure.
Maker, you're
We
the
could
one who
possibly-
knows him best. What do you think?
He did strike me as the extraordinarily careful type, but I wasn't up there when it happened, so I have no way of knowing if he could have pulled something or not.
How many dice was that fireball? Wolf would have survived it. He thinks it's possible.
I'm not telling you how many dice the fireball was. Don't ask me that question. I'm not telling you the answer.
No, just
I'm not giving
care
you.
if Wolf thought of it in that way, he wouldn't even care. It's like 300. That seems doable.
300
Doesn't
dice?
matter.
Okay, cool.
I lived through that. It's fine. Anyways,
Yeah.
How many glitter
That's why
flies
I
would it
say-
take to fit into the into the fireball?
Give me a scale of glitter flies to. Give me a scale of glitter flies to bloat whales. How big was that fireball, boss?
Ugh.
Like half a bloat whale, a couple 100,000 glitter flies. Give me a scale, boss. Like
those are the only two measurements.
the only use measurement Wolf's got in his place.
Although actually,
Oh god, we
Wolf's
gotta
measurement
go to
only-
Wadal. That's like 50 bloat whales from here, guys. Come on.
Actually sounds
Well,
manageable.
actually-
put it like
Yeah, that
that.
sounds pretty close.
Yeah. I think Wolf actually would have bear as one of his measuring sticks of like, yeah, bear.
Okay,
Bear size.
besides the wolf measuring
bear.
system.
The wolf is at least
Those are the 3
two
units.
wolves
Sounds like
taller than
7
me.
bears. Anyway,
The
sorry.
glitterfly is an inch, a bear is a foot, and bloat whale is a yard.
We're doing too much
Yard.
now. Sorry.
How big is a Zoran devil then?
Oh
Stop!
my god.
Mile.
Stop! Please!
We need to stop. We need to
It
stop.
goes me
We need to
backwards.
stop. No, we need to stop. We need to
No,
stop.
it's fine. I love you guys so much. I hope you all know that. Oh man.
All right. But yeah, that seems like
I think what
Getting
just to
back
get
into
you
the
guys back in
conversation,
scene,
though.
I think what'll have happen is it's
Mhm.
about this time that the sun is starting to kind of set a bit low. You all are definitely pretty close to base because Durga flies pretty goddamn fast. So you're all pretty close to base. The first mate comes in to let you all know, just Captain, We'll be ashore soon.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
Janaka. Nice to see you again.
Man of few words.
He just turns and kind of heads back over to take care of his own things. But Nikali just says, "It's late, and we've all, looks at our own hands, been through a great deal. Perhaps, if you all would like to get some food and either continue this chat or maybe save it for a future day, we have time to prepare, but not too much of it. Nonetheless, we're short on manpower. So, from this moment forward, I'm appointing you all as sub-strike commanders of the Storm Children. You all still answer to Joshua, but any of our troops are in your command. The calls that you make will decide what we all do going forward. I can't keep my eyes and hands everywhere, unfortunately. I trust you all, though. We have grown a lot in this time. I'm glad we saved you all from that ship.
We are too.
Yeah.
Thanks for picking us up.
Maybe we're gonna make it out.
Must have been the fates. My musings
Fuck the
aside,
things.
get in, get some food in you, and if you all need to rest now, that's totally fine. Regardless, whatever you need from me or anybody else, simply ask. And I think with that, you're going to hear a slight kind of rumble from Durga as she begins to pitch down below the cloud line and slowly begin her descent towards the moored, sort of the nest they've moored next to the Storm Children base, where the other bloat whales are all kind of gathered and still resting now. And yeah, I think, unless there's anything else you guys want to have right here, cool, then I'll say that, yeah, you all are sort of proceeded, back through the main cavern entrance, brought towards the mess hall. Secrets to Tinker is at the sort of stove. He is at work on this massive cauldron, like easily a cauldron that could fit maybe 7 or 8 people, full of, well, it's like a stew, and it's huge, massive. It's honestly not a spoon, it's a spear that he's just broken the end off of and attached a wood-carved massive like spoon head to, so it's a spoon, but it's just working it around and like just literally running around the pot in circles to work it. It smells weird. Like, it's not bad, it's not a gross smell, but it doesn't smell like what you'd expect food to smell like. It just smells kind of like weird, really. If any of you want, you're more than welcome to kind of approach the pot and try to see what it is. He won't let you in the pot because he's still working on it. But people are
You
coming
won't let us
up.
in?
Then why would we go into the pot?
No, I mean like to dip it. Like he won't let you.
We know.
He won't let you, like, taste test it.
Let me in.
But
No.
there are, as you are all watching him work this massive pot, do any of you want to approach?
Mitz is going and is just gonna ask,
Yeah,
so
same.
what arcane
Same with
ritual
me.
is this?
Like, what you working on, bud?
So
Yeah,
as
what's
Mitch
this?
comes up and is just like, what arcane ritual is this? Seeker just stops, looks up, and it's like, dinner. And then just goes back to the running in circles. And he's like, it's my specialty. You'll all love it, I'm sure. Did any of you glance down at the pot?
Absolutely.
It's off brown, but like a stew stock brown, not like a gross brown. Bubbling. There are chunks of things in it. You can see vegetables of some kind, some large oranges and browns and greens of various cut up vegetables of different roots and kinds. There's also some other things. You can't super tell because they're covered in the broth. They're chunky, and you can tell that some of them appear like they're maybe meat. Something in it moves, though. Like, slithers, real quick.
Yep.
Can I check to see if I know what it is?
Roll me nature real quick.
Hell yeah. Alright,
He's the hunt
nature.
master. Gonna go
You ready
hunt
for
something in
this?
his food.
Yeah.
Ah.
Get nature.
Oh no. Nature.
What you got?
You got
And
a
I would have
6.
helped him so we can get a 17 instead, since he...
Ploy, you go to, Oh, Wolf, are you helping?
Yeah, Wolf's there. He's like, I want to know what that is,
you go
too.
to look at this.
He just wants to eat it.
Ploy, you go up to look at this, and you're just like...
Uh-huh.
The moment you go to look and see what that is, you're just like, oh, that smells good. And you're just like kind of lost in it. Wolf walks up to kind of see, like, what are you talking about? And the thing, you all see the thing slither by. Wolf, it was a really huge fucking worm. Just like, it looked like a snake. You were like, oh, it's a living snake. And then you're like, no, that didn't have scales. That was a worm.
He's like, hey, got a worm in your soup.
As you say that,
Is it worm soup?
you see a bowl dip into the big pot. As you all look up, there's a random Sethani soldier, like from the Storm Children, who just has scooped up a bowl. And then he leaves, and there's another one behind him, a Hashari, who scoops a bowl. And then behind him is Nakiwe, who has this like trough that he just scoops up, and then dunks his head in for a couple seconds, picks up, scoops again, and then walks off.
Wow,
And
he double dips?
And as you finally,
Ew.
as he moves away, there's
a worm in the
queue
soup. I don't know what you're talking about.
behind him. Like, everyone is around for them. You see Shaw's in line, Lady Temmin there too far back. Everyone's queued up for this. Whatever this is.
Worm soup, all right.
Yeah, sounds good. Do we have to get in line?
Yeah, Wolf's gonna get in line. He's gonna be polite.
As you all are looking at line, you do notice Nakiyoe just turns back and points his trough towards all of you.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah, wait,
get a
yeah,
soup
sure.
bowl.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Who's going
Hey,
up with
Nakiwe,
the
how's it going?
So who's going up with the bowl first? Floyd?
Wolf is.
Yeah, I'll.
Oh,
Okay,
Wolf,
Wolf go first.
Look him.
So yeah, Wolf, you walk up, Ploy, you're like, Nakiwe, how's it going, bud? Wolf, you go like for like the scoop. Nakiwe grips the back of your head and dunks your face in the bowl. And you're just slurping up all this soup. And he picks you, he doesn't like drown you, he picks you back right back up.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just looks, going great now. And then he turns.
How's it tasting?
and-
How's the soup tasting?
Oh, so I'll come right to that. He turns
Yeah, yeah.
to
Does
you,
he have to
Ploy,
roll a
and
Constitution
puts his hand on
Yeah.
the back of your muzzle and looks like he's about to dunk you. Do you resist at all?
No.
Dunk. And then he picks your head back up too. I'm assuming you both swallow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking
How many
delicious.
times has he had to say that?
It is like there's your back chunks. There's some Zoran Devil like claw meat in there, like the really good, like nice, like not stringy stuff. You don't know what like other stuff is in there because something in there is crunchy but kind of meat like. And you're like, I could think about what that is, but you're like, you know what? I'm gonna not. But it's fucking good. It's real good.
Wolf is gonna be like, you two don't have like hair. This is gonna take a while to clean out now. Points to his beard now full of soup.
Oh,
Nakiwe inhales and just.
Okay. Soup everywhere.
Fucking
Uh,
hair dryer.
A lot of it goes like it blows a lot of the soup off of you. Unfortunately, there's now Nakiwe spittle on large portions of your face and body. It's maybe slightly less gross. Maybe.
Mitch
or
at this
worse.
point is gonna like just pull out the decanter and just dump it on
Yeah, it's like-
Wolf's head.
it's
Just
less
make it
gross
worse.
until you realize the QA eats people.
He does.
That he do.
He's pretty good.
Wolf's main method of attack is to bite people, like about half the time. He's not that grossed up. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, solid word.
Oh, sorry for soaking you, but figured you didn't want
But
slime
this
on
is
you.
still better, just because it's gonna. He cares about beard maintenance, and he's like, no,
what
I'm
word
gonna
did
have to
you
comb
use
this
for
out
the
now.
decanter?
He subscribed to Dr. Sasquatch for beer maintenance.
Yeah,
Hashtag
Man.
not sponsored content.
his beard's real good. His beard's real good. He would definitely. If someone wants to sponsor a beard thing, I will make sure never to shave this, and we will do it on stream every time. I promise.
I'm gonna behave
Oh
now.
my
I'm
God.
so sorry, guys. So you're all.
Anyways.
Yeah. So you all finally sit down to have a meal, and I think this is just because it's good to kind of give you all a moment. You notice it's a bit strange. Their tables are pretty long. The table you all sit at, you all kind of all plop down in the middle of it, and Nakiwe, despite like kind of walking over with you, does like offer you all a very like warm smile and a nod. It's not like cold or anything, but he shuffles off to his own little corner of the room to go trough his food down. In fact, you notice no one's sitting next to you. As you look around, no one's like giving you the side eye or cold shoulder. It's not like you're like being shunned from like the lunch table or whatever, but it's more just like everyone's acknowledging that you all are going through a great deal and are spearheading the effort here, and so we're just offering you some time to yourselves, just to rest or to talk. So you all have the space to yourselves to do whatever you will. I'm actually just gonna fall back and to be fully transparent, I'm gonna mute my mic and let y'all just take some time.
Mitz is gonna take like a small little cuplet, like tiny little cup of the soup, and just like flip open and plunk.
Yeah.
You should try some.
You're feeding
Pour
your
some
book.
onto the book.
That seems like not a great idea.
Look,
Know the
Then
thing?
again, we've seen you do this so many times, and it's all. I don't know why. It's a fucking book. Like.
You look down, you look down, the bowl of soup
It's
is
a
gone.
magic book.
You all
Not
look
like-
down,
Yeah.
the soup is gone. There's just you like see like Nya's like pages like fully close a little bit.
Yeah.
Soup's gone now. All gone. No soup there.
Alright.
I
Okay, what
don't
did
know why
Nya
I'm
think
surprised
of it?
anymore.
Not kind of like a just floats over towards you, Ploy, and it's just like, if the soup wasn't so good, I'd be really mad at you calling me book right now.
Yeah,
Surprised-
that's
surprised he
understandable.
didn't burp in his face.
Don't tempt me.
Anyway, I feel like we should ask Secrets of Tinker about Hashari-related stuff, because maybe he knows something. But I feel like one of you should do it, because I think he's still mad about the fire pike.
I can do it. I had meant to go to him anyway. I figure if anyone can make something that can get through those restraints, it'd be him. But before that, I feel I should consult Lady Temin, as she seems the most knowledgeable about the actual magic.
These are all great ideas.
Mizu, you want to come with me and talk with Temin?
Yeah, sounds good. I was wondering if there
Uh,
was maybe some way to like maybe overcharge that energy that is holding the manacles together. Because probably only takes so much energy. It's just a means of what energy you could overcharge it with.
It is the consumer. I wonder if we can use different elements. Or maybe does it react to divine energy differently?
Sorry, I like this moment of Z and Mitz are having this very technical conversation, and Wolf like just leans sort of over them, and to Ploy it's like, hey, do we want to go talk to the Empyrean? Like us as like the people who probably can relate to them more.
That's
They
probably a
did
good
seem like
idea.
they need help,
Yeah.
and I think that they would like to know if someone who's willingly killing gods and destroyed like a whole bunch of people in the pursuit of reckless power was like their next door neighbor.
Yeah, I think so. By the way, are we not going to talk about the fight with Kali? Because we did technically fight for a little bit.
Yeah, it's the second time. It's not as impressive after the first time.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna mention the Zor'aa devil I summoned. Nobody.
It was very cool. No,
It was
great.
very cool.
I've never
She
done
just-
that
she was
before.
So cool she ran away.
Yeah, she pieced out before we could even use it.
Yeah. She kind of
Yeah.
just ran
It
off.
still was very cool.
You'll get it next time.
Yeah. I'm pretty lucky, you know. It's pretty random what I get out of that.
Really? Okay.
Good thing
That's-
it happened in a fight where she didn't stick around then.
You know,
Yeah.
honestly,
I mean,
what I do is pretty consistent. And he just holds up a fist. It's easy.
that's
Just
true.
saying.
See, it's tough because there's so many beasts in Zor'aa. There's just so many, and you gotta just reach and you pick one, you know. And
Sounds like
sometimes you
magic.
get lucky. Sometimes you get a glitter fly.
But they're tasty.
That's true.
Yeah, at that point, it's just a little bit of a free snack in the middle of the fight. Still not bad,
We'll
right?
charm
Play-
the
play
charm
pulls
the
out a-
enemy with food.
Chloe pulls out a jar and you see there's 3 glitter fly in it. Yeah, I may have had a bit of bad luck over the past couple of days.
Trying this out.
Yeah, you know, we all have to practice somehow. He puts
Well,
the jar
Chloe-
back in his pack.
Ploy, I'll have you know, I'm quite proficient at games of dice and games of chance, and there is a superstition among us that when you have bad luck, that means you're getting it out of the way, so that the good luck can happen when it matters. So your bad luck over the past few days could be considered as a good omen of sorts.
Man, I must be piling up a whole lot of good luck. And you see Ploy pulls out another jar and there's 20 glitter fly in it.
You did get a Zoran Devil. Like, let's be real. That's pretty good luck.
I did, yeah. I guess overall it does balance out, huh? Who knows? One day I might even just summon Durga by accident.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that will be useful when we need a ride home.
Mhm.
I wouldn't count on it. To be perfectly honest.
I just hope Durga is prepared for that day.
But
Can't
hey,
imagine it pleasant being ripped from whatever you were doing in that moment.
I will say, there
Thrust
was a
onto
time
battlefield.
I summoned Durga, but Durga was already there. So Durga just moved
nothing
about.
happened.
She moved about like a bear and a half to the left.
Damn it.
Was
Mm.
I think I'll remember that one for a while.
Oh, you can't see it, Chad, but we got our glasses off or laugh for that.
Foxxie's losing it. But no, is there anything we're missing? Like, very impressed by magical practice, I guess. I don't know what goes into it. Is there anything we're missing? I feel like something that we
Well,
could
Nikali
do.
yourself said the Storm Children were short on manpower. We
Yeah,
will likely need to gather some for the assault on the tower.
Mhm.
What are the places where Kali's forces are like, that's the edge of her forces? What's keeping her people where they're at? 'Cause the other side are going to be a bunch of people fighting her. Maybe we can drum up support around there?
I suppose we'll need to consult Nikali and Joshua.
Joshua,
for that
probably.
information.
Yeah.
Josh probably knows.
Doesn't she
I
like?
feel like the
Most
most
of-
important things are we gotta talk to the Empyreans. We gotta figure out why the Shari are helping Kali, and if we can stop that. And
Cut
then,
out. Stop it.
like, you know, the
And drum up
handcuffs.
support in general?
Yeah,
Oh, handcuffs, yes.
yeah.
I do think that however one of us gets in, sneaking, which again, not to put that all on you, Mako, but probably you, we can try and drop a few of us at the top of the tower while they're being occupied with whatever the rest of the siege is. We
By
just,
the way,
you
what
know,
is the
either
layout
do
of the
feather
I
tower?
was
Do you
thinking
have
along
blueprints?
those lines as well. However, for
Hmm.
that purpose, I don't think a bloat whale is very conducive to stealth, hence my earlier concerns.
We could
Yeah.
fly the bloat whale super high, and then whoever we drop off, I can put featherfall on.
Yeah, and you've got your boots,
Or
right?
you could
The
drop
same
me,
boots.
and I
yeah.
can fly.
That's true.
I mean, hey,
But
I
do
can
we
go
have
with you.
blueprints?
I mean,
Like-
I hate being in the sky, but if you just hold me tight.
don't let go. Mako is not remotely as big as you, though.
Actually, this is a GM question. About what combat rating?
Would we suppose the top of the tower is?
Combat rating the top of the tower is?
No, the bloat whale.
Oh.
So,
What's your challenge rating?
right now,
Sure.
the bloat whales as you have them right now, which I'll just say plainly, they are unarmored, naked, just bloat whales. A bloat whale is a CR10 creature.
Okay.
Durga, who is not only a big bloat whale, which does factor in her higher CR, but also has, you know, a galley with weapons on it on her back, is a CR15 creature.
Okay.
So if you're asking the question of how high could we get the CR of the bullet wheels by putting armor or weapons on them, I would say, and this is going to be a thing we talk about later, maybe it's something that I know another thing you talk to Secret Stinker about, but just to give you the terminology, and I'll tell you how he makes it that way later, but again, like a roleplay encounter, I'd say you can probably get them to about CR 13. And that's just like assuming you guys roll normally on the rolls to like take that action to get them armored up. If you roll exceptionally, maybe higher.
Okay. Well, that's all well and good to know. Actually wasn't why I was asking it. So yeah, so kind of taking all of this in, like, Zeal just kind of pipe up.
Oh no, let me turn my.
So if we're worried about any of them getting hurt, I do know a spell to become pretty much any beast that is about the same power level that I am. So if need be, I could just become one or turn someone else into.
That could be fun. I've always wondered. I mean, I've shared senses with Durga before, so I guess I have some experience with being a bloat whale in a way.
I'm sorry, just to check in with the game master here. Are we negotiating the possibility of turning Ploy into a bloat whale?
It's polymorph,
Yeah.
Like it has to be like my level or lower,
Just
basically.
checking,
Are we about to
okay.
employ the shadow bloat whale jutsu?
Just checking. I was just asking.
But wait, that only lasts for like an hour, though, right? How much distance can we really cover in an
Yeah,
hour?
less an hour. But all I'm saying is if we get, if we really want a bloat whale to be closer to the tower and not have to drop people, that could be an option. We could still fly high and then, I don't know, someone fly out, become a bloat whale, and then we go down.
Well,
Potentially.
same thought. It only lasts an hour. Can't we just turn one of us into one of the flying dragon things that I've forgotten the name of? Wolf is saying.
I mean, I also know
Well,
polymorph, so we can both do that.
Wyverns are
Wyverns.
dragons. Unfortunately, I can only do beasts.
Ah, boo. Okay.
I know
have a great
polymorph.
idea.
Children not have some wyverns out there just they
Just
might
so we
make for a
don't have
better
to-
approach that or a more subtle approach than
Okay. I think
Okay, that's true.
I think what we should do is Mako and I will go in and disable their air defenses, and then we can fly with whatever we want in. Now Mako can just float, and if I want to be sneaky, you could turn me into a glitter fly, since I also have a lot of experience being those, and I pull out the jar of glitter flies again and shake it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use a 4th level
No,
spell.
can I help out a little bit here, guys? Just a little bit. So,
Yeah, so what do you say?
I mean, if all else fails, I could explode the tower.
Please don't. Anyways.
Oh no, his glasses off me. Oh wait, chat, you can see it. Never mind.
So guys, just as the only person here who clearly has any fucking knowledge of how warfare or any kind of larger scale combat works in this sense.
We're dumb.
It's a
Oh, yeah, none of us play
siege!
Total War.
Hit them with the fucking air assault! Sorry. Let me explain that in the more common terminology. As you're considering the possibilities of whether or not you want to either armor the bloat whales, do a more stealthy air assault with wyverns, send in a single bloat whale through polymorph, or perhaps multiple bloat whales through polymorph, I don't fucking know what your plan is. You're thinking maybe, just maybe, you might want to talk to one of your friends who maybe has some experience organizing militaries. As in, talk to someone who can please let me explain how you guys should do this. Please? This is becoming
Sure.
In any case, before we do that...
See, this is what happens when the GM says, I'm just gonna sit back.
Yeah, then we just come up with
Shit,
all
No,
the
so
hack
I'll
shit.
explain the problem, and that's okay. It's not a problem. It's actually not a problem. I'm sorry, that's the wrong terminology. It's not a problem. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. It's not a problem. I'll explain what happened there in a moment. But before we do that, I'm gonna one, put my glasses back on, and two, let's take a break real quick, okay, guys? How'd that sound?
Great.
We'll do a little
That
more
sounds
than an
good.
hour. Let's take a quick
Time to go
break,
get yelled at.
and then we'll figure it out, okay? How's that sound, everybody? All right?
Yeah, that sounds like a
Yeah.
good idea.
We'll be
Sure.
right back. We love you all very much. Don't touch that dial. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
no metaphors.
Not really important.
True.
But it's a great way to
We're
cut
back
open.
in.
Hi, guys.
Oh no.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Because stream is delayed, we were on that conversation for a little bit before we got to that point.
Oh, sometimes it's fun to punish my players, but it's okay. They're back. I love you. Well, you all know that, right?
Yep. Sure do.
Well,
It's not like we have to punish you.
Exactly. We return to our actual play 5e homebrew live stream, The Seven Sons. Where we last left off, the players were left with a moment to themselves at the dinner table to discuss the things they have going on with themselves. They chose to use that time to plan, and that's fine. That's totally fine. I'm now going to say, as the night wanes on, you all have options. And this is where things will kind of open up more. From here, days will pass much more narratively in a sort of theater of mind without having to sort of have structured time. You can use any time you want to go interact with people you know, talk to NPCs, stuff like that, go places, whatever. But anytime you'd like to give a specific order to the Storm Children to do a thing, you will tell me what you want to do, I will tell you what to roll, and I will often ask you who is doing the thing so I can say who has to roll it, and then we'll, play it out from there. And again, you get 6 of those said actions. At the end of the 6, we will probably be towards the end of the session. So what will probably happen is I'll do some in-between RP things and handle about 3 moves, and then we'll probably take one more break, come back in for our last 3, and I'll take the end session. Make sense?
Yeah.
Having said that, it's the nighttime. You all are noticing people leaving the dinner. The big, massive cauldron of stew is almost completely empty. People went back for seconds and thirds, It's a very, very popular meal. But as you're all heading off towards, either your nighttime dwellings or anything else you'd like to do, I'd mostly like to ask you all sort of individually, anyone who feel like they want to jump in first with like what they would do. Tell me if you're not just like going off to bed. Is there anything you're doing either like right now or perhaps like first thing in the morning? And whoever feels like they have like it right now can jump in.
Well, the first thing I'll be doing is going to Temin about the magic on the restraints.
If Mako's doing that, I think Mitz would go with Mako, and probably try to drag Z along with her.
Yep. Also going. I'm just eating.
Fair enough. Well, in that case, we have 3 of y'all. Wolf,
I think what Wolf wants to do is like check in on Joshua, whether that night or like some time where he doesn't have to be like around other people and just be like, "Hey, buddy, is everything okay?" I know it's not, but like I need to have this conversation with you. I feel like to make sure. I just don't know when that would be.
I'm gonna give you time to stew on how that scene plays out while the rest of them go meet with Ted. But before we do that, Ploy, what do you want to take care of either tonight or the next day?
Immediate things. Once again, also same as Wolf, would like to talk to Joshua about, first of all, like how he's doing, but also now that we're both technically Blade Soul monks in a way, like how's that working out? Is there anything that we can like learn from each other in terms of that stuff? And then there's also talking to Wolf about how we want to go about convincing the I forgot their name now.
Empyrean.
Yeah, convincing the Empyreans to lend us a lot of people.
Okay.
I do have thoughts on that, but that might be part of the conversation with Joshua at the end or the beginning.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay, we'll do that. So let's have the 3 of you first go chat with Temin, and then we'll cut to you 2 checking in with Joshua. How's that sound?
We accidentally check in them at the same time. I kind of like that.
And I'll say that it's probably decently not too long after dinner because Temin likes to get her sleep. So you all kind of check in with her before she nods off because you know that woman is not easy to wake up. Sleeps like a brick. So you catch her in the study, actually, in the captain's chambers. She has her massive old story tome open and is just thumbing through a tale she had scrawled down. You have no idea how many ages ago. Nakali is there too. She is off to the side, looking over the map and nursing a cup of a piping hot liquid. It's probably tea or some kind of coffee or something. And that's mostly it. Shaw usually is around this place too, but she's elsewhere right now. But that's sort of the scene the three of you walk in on, and you approach Temin, and she doesn't look up from her storybook as the three of you approach. Play it out.
Good morning.
Oh, is it morning?
Afternoon.
Engaging read, huh?
A tale I've been through a few times, yes, but... Oh, no! We lost the heck!
Uh-oh.
Tragic. Let's go.
She's
wait,
now
no, wait,
starting.
hold up.
Oh, she's
What?
back.
Don't give up. Don't give up.
Lord, please.
Never give up. Trust your instincts.
Come back.
Wait for it.
It just restarted.
This girl was
Like,
like, nah,
hey,
fuck you, by
like,
the way.
were you doing
you
it?
hit
You're not doing
Control R by
anything
accident?
important.
You're not
like,
doing anything
I'm
important,
gonna
right?
restart.
Yeah,
Nah, it's
exactly.
okay. We got this. Problem solved. Thanks, Discord.
Nothing
Appreciate it.
important going on.
It's alright, give me
Interrupting our.
Still
That's all good.
better than Skype.
That's true.
Yeah, you're right.
Very true.
Alright.
So, she just, it's a story I've been through a few times, but never get tired of seeing the end. How are you this evening? All of you.
Well, I suppose. Which is a surprise to me.
Not fantastic, but I'm okay.
Mitz is just flipping through and scribbling on a scroll, just like trying to recall, like, I've done this several times already, but I should need, like, so this shouldn't take too long, but it's just like twirling it, like, their enchanted quill around like a finger, and it's like, yeah, this. Doing okay. And just goes back to...
Always tinkering that one. And what are you working on, Little Mitz?
Well, a couple of things. The is, well, busy going over our notes on the blood gems and the handcuffs, but I'm making some spell scrolls, or at least a spell scroll, fast as I can.
Curious. I just noticed I've been doing Temin in Shayar's voice for some reason. I'm gonna fix that. Sorry. I've been having a bit of a peek at those shackles myself. Manacles capable of cutting off divine energy. A null point in the ether. A curious case, but... Well, I have some thoughts.
They do feel a lot like those blood gems. And Kali, now that I think about it.
Indeed. Our beloved enemy is empowered by the god of the void, I believe. It may be that Kolokesh has some hand in all of this. Mayhap this all plays into his machinations for a grand ending for all of our existence.
I remember... Z, do you remember that temple in the Tomb of the Watchers? I know they mentioned Kol'jin. I can't remember much about that. Well, to be fair, I also had a blinding headache, so... One god went too far. Was Kol'jin the one who shattered Amutep?
Well, in any case, if we know the source of their power, do we know any way to counter it? Even just a way to make the restraints pickable like a normal lock would suffice. I can handle the rest from there.
I can answer both of those questions, actually. Looks between the two of you, Miss Samantha. The one the Dominion calls Kolkis is truly known as Kolokesh, god of the entropy and void, the Evermaw. You are correct. He is the one who struck and shattered Amitab. To your second point, yes, I do believe it is possible to counter it. And not just to nullify the way that those shackles, shackle magical energy, to turn that use on its head, perhaps. I believe I may have a way to shackle Shem. I'll have to run it by your hunter friend, as the specifics are, beyond my realm, but it's a thought. And you'll see that on sort of like a page of her notebook, kind of scribbled in a corner, she has what looks almost like a small little schematic. It looks almost like a massive, like a tarp of some kind, with metal rivulets kind of in the ends of it, and large, massive, ropes running across it. You can only tell the ropes are meant to be huge because there are little stick figures that you guess are meant to be like the scale of people on either side of the ends of these ropes, kind of like looking like they're trying to pin it down. And this contraption is over a large, forearm of a beast of some kind.
Shem. How does Shem factor into all this? And actually, Z, do you still have that journal from that guard we looted from a long time back? What was it? The someone's rest?
Show how long he's rest?
Yeah.
The first tomb you guys went into?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but as you ask the question, how does Shem factor into this? You hear a page, you hear a cup set down from behind you, and the colleague's voice just says, "Simple. We have to kill him. Now." Kali
end.
is already
Did
empowered.
I go fetch
by
Wolf?
Well, I don't mean literally right now. I mean that when we strike the tower, our plan is simple. Whether or not we free the prisoners, we break in, we get and find that last gem, which Kali will definitely try to use to empower herself and take on the rest of the Pantheon. But if we get our hands on it, we use it to enact a ritual. We preemptively summon Shem into our plane. Wolf kills him, he is empowered, he slays Kali.
Question? Why do we need to summon Shem to our plane? Mitz is just thinking back and is like, why can't we just go to the plane Shem exists on and fight him there?
And how exactly would you suggest we do that?
Well, I don't think I'm strong enough to accomplish this yet. But I do remember, at least, there is a spell, and Mitz is going to I guess, try to filter back through the knowledge.
Thumb through your own brain?
Yeah, and it's like, there is a spell for plane shifting. We can shift a number of our people into a separate plane.
Sorry, I had the GM slip there for a bit. A spell to let one travel through the planes. It sounds inconceivable, but if you believe it's doable, you would certainly need the might of many, many spellcasters. How would you gain such?
Not certain. It's...
Hey, Miss?
Hmm?
Your forehead feels a little warm. Zenari and Mako, that circlet Miss has been wearing for a bit, the blue gem in those glowing.
Is that a call, maybe, that you have to pick up?
It's not, per se. But, Mitz, you briefly feel a slight tug on your consciousness. Like a reminder that there are, well, a whole realm of people just like you could tap into.
It's, kinda like, just... Right, I forgot about the aspect of this. Mitz reaches up a claw and just, like, gently pokes at it.
Your divine
This-
circlet.
It seems it has access to some kind of collective pool of energy which all Coatl folk can access. Or at least pull from.
Do you believe you could draw from this to pull enough magical power to pull off this spell of yours?
Mitz is a little leery about digging in, because last time she went in, she dove in and kind of saw her mom again and was like, oh, hi mom. It's like, well, there's definitely a vast pool of energy. It's untapped. As for whether I could channel it myself, perhaps.
Perhaps it's better than nothing. And I suppose it's a plan worth considering. So then, you'll see her kind of like pull up a small pad she was kind of scribbling notes on. We besiege the tower. How we do so still remains to be seen. We have to get the forces for that. Nonetheless, the plan remains get you all inside and get you to that gem. If you can use that to send a strike force of some kind through the plains to assault Shem where he rests, that is certainly possible. But failing that, our only option remains pulling him through. She looks around and says, I imagine this spell would take some great deal of concentration for you to pull off, yes?
As a GM question, this is a 7th level concentration spell, but it doesn't require any concentration.
Well,
Like, it's literally just like everyone stands in a circle and we kind of like dial into a plane and then hop there,
okay.
assuming we know enough about it.
So then you have to do some learning, it appears.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
So
what I will say then is, interesting. And is there a
Yeah,
limit
it's
on the number of people you can
by
send
target
through?
destination in general terms, or like so you might end up near the area, or like have an actual sigil.
Is there a limit on the number of people you can send through?
Up to 8 willing creatures. Myself plus up to 8.
Well, then that leaves us with 2 options. Hunting a god beast is no small task, and I am not certain if you could possibly push that limit of 8 beyond, but the more people we can send through to work on this hunt, the better. I will send my best scouts and hunters through with you if I can, but if there's a limit on the number of people, then we have 2 options. First is that you all go through along with however few we can send with you and confront Shem on your own. Second is the Hunt Master and whoever feels appropriate, namely the God Killer, and whoever else we can send along with them go through, while the rest of us in the chamber hold off Kali. In either case, we will have to hold her at bay while we kill off Shem.
Am I here for this conversation?
I would say you're not, actually.
Okay.
Mitz is
Yeah.
going to have a think. So long as we can get rid of, I think, Handtake Steel, because Mitz isn't sure of what his abilities are, or their abilities are, but, like, Plane Shift is a difficult spell, right? It's 7th level. And they're not sure, and she's not sure of how many high-level mages Kali would have access to. So unless some other being could give Kali the ability to transfer to another plane, that might be a contingency. What would prevent Kali from following us besides not being able to access its spell?
You've seen the Kali thinking? I may have a thought for that. You'll have to allow me some time, unfortunately, though. Speaking of, while I have you both, the three of you here, I am deciding how to dispatch some of our forces. This may be a conversation for all of us to have together, but while you are gathering with your friends this night in the next few days, before we all meet, have a think about where you might want to send some of our troops. The choices you make I will try to follow through on, but begin to think through what things you might wish to have done, whether it be recruitment, fortification, or other more such things. I will begin digging into the matter of hand takes steel. We'll see. Outside of that, are there other things I believe you all need right now?
Z, any thoughts?
Not off the top of my head.
Knock up.
I had something and then I forgot it.
I was like, I'll get back.
That's the player talking, not the
That's fine,
character.
If he comes back to you, just DM it to me or put it to the group chat, and we'll go take it from there as a scene. But let's cut over briefly as Nikali just says, if that's all, then I have some thoughts on some early troop movements. Please, if you don't mind, come have a look here. And just like you all kind of gather on the table and start having a look at what our thoughts are. And we'll cut over to, it's still the dining hall actually. It's later in the night, so it's all been filed out. But there's a table off in the corner, which has a few open bottles on it. And by open, I mean most of them are empty. But there's one or two that are still full, or at least corked open. And from there, you all, as we cut to this scene of bottles out across this table, in the midst of them is a man in fine, noble robes who has a large goblet full of a liquid of some kind and appears to be taking large gulps out of it as Joshua sits alone at a table. Just what a day. And I think it's sort of at that moment that from two separate directions leading into the dining room, one from the armory and one from sort of leading off from the other hallway, Ploy and Wolf, you both walk in separate directions and both see each other first, and then Joshua just sat right there at the table.
I imagine there's this like moment where Wolf sees Ploy and then tries to, like, without saying it, just sort of gesture, be like, "Are you having a conversation with him? Is it all right if I? Can we both?"
Spider-Man.
And, like, wait for a
memes.
head nod.
We just point at each other. Yeah.
It's a little bit like, because he's gonna let, basically, if Ploy wants to talk alone, let him do that. But there would be that moment of,
Yeah, there's this moment where Ploy goes like, I'll go first. Just like me first, you know? So I'll walk over to Josh and be like, oh, I'll just sit down next to him first.
He reaches behind him, pulls up, there's a second goblet, he corks a bottle, fills it full of alcohol of some kind, and just plants it next to him. Doesn't say anything.
I'll take the goblet, take a drink, put it back down, and just say, a willing sacrifice, eh?
Yep. Who'd you give?
I mean, I'm assuming you haven't seen Ned around in a while.
I didn't want to assume.
Yeah.
You know, my dad raised me. things were not different, but when you're young, you don't see everything around. I didn't see the Emir of Mirkal, shrewd political baron. All I saw was a loving father. Someone who watched me skip stones across the river occasionally and practice my sword swings with me.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
weird.
that's how people are.
Yeah. It's weird. There's so many big moments I could point to. So many huge points in my life he was there for. But all I can think about are the small things. You know?
Of course.
Sorry, just amusing, I guess. Wolf, you coming? He's standing there all day.
Wolf has been like not looking on purpose, but he's like, "Well, I don't want to interrupt."
He reaches behind him again. Third goblet. Fills it with alcohol. Passes the seat to the other side of him.
Wolf will like solemnly sit down and take a drink out of the goblet, and I think he wants to look at Joshua, like really look at him, and he's just gonna ask him a question. Was it worth it? Did you feel like were satisfied with dying there? And there's no judgment. He just wants to 100% know.
Maybe. I don't know. I think dying would have just taken the load off, you know? I don't think I cared, I guess. Stupid as that sounds.
Wolf like nods, and he pulls out a book actually from his bag. It's not his like journal. It's a thing that's been in his inventory the whole time as part of his backstory. It's a book that says "Journey of Fang" on it. I think you guys, as like a party, have seen Wolf read it sometimes. And he toys around with it, and he's like, "I'm one of a long line of my people that can do what I do, that have all been looking for something. They didn't know what, they didn't know why. This is from one of my predecessors. He was more eloquent than I was. He could write well, and he told his story. He is the reason that I feel I can simply do what I think is right in the moment. And my only guiding star is, am I going to regret if I die here? I don't really think about it too often anymore. It just happens, but you didn't have to die there. And I'm glad you didn't. I really am.
I appreciate that. I've lost a lot of good soldiers. It's been a long war.
It has.
But you two
U.S.
are fine fighters. I don't know how all this is gonna end, but I'm glad that when we see that final siege, when we face that final daylight, I'm glad you two will be there with me.
Yeah, I mean, leave it to us to come up with a really dumb way of getting involved in the fight, but we'll be there one way or another, right?
Yeah, man. I guess you got me there. Can I be honest with the two of you?
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Always.
This conflict of ours, this war, It's grown so far beyond what it was. It's gods and prophecies. I'm a resistance fighter, guys. I lead guerrilla raids and command garrisons. It's all gotten so far above me.
Mm.
Furballs over here is a god killer. You're a god hunter. The two cute ones are gods, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me. I came here with a group of friends because we like exploring ruins. And all of a sudden, two of my friends are gods. One of my friends passed out, woke up, and now is gambling to become a god. And I'm just here, they say I'm a god hunter. I'm just here, you know? I'm just here to hunt things. I came to prove myself to my tribe, and fucking who knows how that's gonna go.
He leans back just. And now Nikali is. Whatever she is. You'll see him kind of reach into his coat, pull out a small, sort of rolled fur pack. He opens one, pulls out a long cigar, crawls a match, puts it between his two teeth. Just, your mind? He
Go ahead.
Nope.
pulls it and strikes the match, and it bursts a flame at the end of it. He just puts the cigar to his lips, takes a deep inhale, and lets out a cloud. And with the fire of the pit still barely going as embers now, it becomes this kind of soft haze of gray reds and soft blues in the nighttime air. He just looks up and just... Even she's all wrapped up in this god stuff now. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, remember those two old Blade Soul monks at the temple?
Yeah, those two.
Worst comes to worst, we just become them. Leave all this behind, we can just sit there and wait for the next two unfortunate souls to become Blade Soul monks.
Well, yeah, but that sounds boring, right?
It's like, yeah, it does.
Man. I don't know, she's something, dudes. She's knowledgeable and powerful, and I don't know, she's always been this symbol for everybody. Now she's even closer tied to a god than she used to be, and I just don't know where my place in all of it is, you know?
But she chose you. And with every one of those words, I'm gonna punch him lightly in the shoulder.
He tucks his head a bit. It's hard to tell because the kind of reddish hue of the fire casts a reddish haze over all of you. But Ploy, you have pretty perceptive vision. He's blushing.
Go.
Yeah, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Fuck knows why.
I think Wolf will sort of pop in. It's like, I wasn't expecting to be a god killer either. Like I said, I had no idea what I was coming out searching for. I honestly expected I'd be searching my whole life. It's gotten so much bigger. I think you're right. All I was planning on doing is what I can. And he just sort of like, with the book, sort of the other direction, instead of like punching him on the shoulder, just kind of like bops him just a little bit on the side of the head. It's like, just do what you can.
He sits there kind of being bopped back and forth by the punching and the book bopping. It's just like, physical therapy aside.
Nah, let's book away.
I guess you're right. Sometimes he looks up. Sometimes you spend your whole life thinking you'll be looking for something, and it's right there in front of you.
Yeah. Sometimes.
That has never been my experience, but I'll take your word for it.
Listen, you two. This celestial nonsense is beyond all me, but if the plan is to go travel beyond the mortal ken and go hunt a god beast beyond all time and space, you can count me amongst your number.
I'm sorry, that's the plan?
From what I hear, yeah.
Oh,
Plan could be
well,
anything.
you know.
Well,
All right.
Wolf was not aware of the plan. He's just like, yep, sure, that sounds about right.
But if the plan is for you all to face Shem on your own, and for me to be leading the troops and valiantly buying you all time, count me to be amongst the vanguard. No matter what. To the end, yeah?
Yeah.
Holds up his glass. To the
Blink.
soldiers we still fight with every day. And to the ones who've left us behind, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just
To them. After Wolf takes just a big long swig, whole thing.
oh yeah, just like several
Yes.
seconds of just like three bros just
Yup.
So I do have a thought.
oh boy. That never goes well.
Exactly. Well, I was the one to talk to the Imperium the first time, but I don't know what promises y'all can make. So if we can get someone to come with us to them, they would be a good source of troops that probably has a vested interest in preventing, everything Kali wants to do.
Better idea. We bring them to us.
If you think you can.
Ever since your little bit of a shotgun diplomacy not too long ago. Not bad on that, by the way. The Imperians have been in contact with us for a little
Shotgun.
bit. They've been trying to meet with us. We just haven't had the time or energy given, well, he just kind of gestures around. However, if you give me some time, I can get an emissary over here to meet with us. If the two of you want to be with there, then let's do that. I agree personally. We need them for this.
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea.
More so, if you solve it without them, they won't have a good opportunity to actually become one people with you, or at least understand you better. Nothing brings two people together than fighting a common enemy.
As for a bargaining chip, I think I got one in mind.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The sword. Ever tell you about Wadal?
Funny enough, I was thinking the same thing.
Well, that's
Well,
the
I-
fun thing.
It's not
I'm
my
part
land
of
to
this.
give.
I don't
but
understand.
Oh, well, that's the fun thing.
I'm not understanding.
It's not your land to give. And he smiles a bit. But it wasn't the Dominion's to take either. And I think
Interesting.
what we're going to do is briefly cut to a break. And when we come back,
Hey.
it will be our next sort of scenes as you all gather up with Joshua and Nikali to finally decide on what actions you will take to prepare for your siege on the tower. Friends, stay locked and loaded. Don't go anywhere, as this session of Seven Sons will end with some choices. We'll see you all soon.
Choices.
Bye-bye. And we're back for
Hey.
the conclusion of this session of Seven Suns, as we draw very close to the conclusion of the campaign soon, honestly, guys. But let's get some music going as we
They don't need to
process
know that.
The day finds you all at, well, let's say it's early in the morning, may barely even to the top of the morning, and you are in the captain's quarters, the commander's chambers of the Storm Children base. A pot of firm black leaf tea is brewed for the sake of waking you all up, because it was a long night, I'm certain, and not that much rest. Joshua and Nikali are at the head of the table together. Curiously, let's see. That's funny as shit. Curiously, Zanara, you went to bed last. You are almost certain you caught Joshua creeping over towards Nikali's quarters before the night ended.
As it goes.
As it goes.
I'm a
But-
married woman. I understand.
Fuck, I'm sorry.
You just wake up and your wife's in bed next to
I
you.
wasn't ready. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway.
Hey, it's a
was gonna
person
say,
who was in real life
you're-
married. That's how that works, man. Sometimes.
Listen, facts. In any case, so they're together at the top of the table there. They both have cups. They're not drinking the tea. Joshua has opened up another bottle of wine and has both of them going out of that because it's gonna be a day. But they're all gathered around you all, and you all have your cups of tea if you'd like, and you have your other things, and they're just kind of looking over a table, the map of Zor'aa splayed out against you all, tokens indicating colleagues' forces, and small other tokens indicating where Storm Children bases and locations and resources and forces are. And Nikali looks up and just says, "All right, you all. Regardless of what we do going forward, we have to have our plan today. We have limited time, but we have resources available. I've given you all a night to think about things, and I have my own thoughts, but I'd like to hear some of your thoughts on what we can do with our troops. If you have anything, get it now, please."
Information is a valuable weapon. I propose we devote some of our resources to scouting the tower beforehand.
Could not agree more, personally. I already have a few parties, my scouts gathered up. I can attach them, certainly, and if that's no problem, if you give me a moment. You'll see her pick up a small token with a small, it looks like a person, but has a little hood over it. She picks up two of them and places them around the tower. And so, Mako, is anyone else going to help out Mako with trying to organize these scout troops, or is that just you, Mako?
I mean, if there's something that I think I can do to help, tell you what, if Mako ends up making the role, I will spend one of my bardic inspiration towards that role, talking about the story of some thief sneaking into a grand palace who was able to get by each of the guards and keep to the shadows and get into the royal chambers where there were all types of riches and information galore. And so that'll be a D10 still now, yeah, because level 11.
Yeah, so Zanari tells this tale of this grand thief who crept into an ancient royal bastion to steal a treasure that would oust the royal family as extorting great wealth and overthrow an ancient kingdom. It's a grand tale, but as it ends, a quip enters your brain, Mako, as you realize he didn't sneak in the treasury to find out the king's wealth. He did it to steal the gem because he wanted to use it to marry the king's daughter. Because she said if he could steal it, she'd marry her and they'd run away. You know that because, well, you were him in one of your lives.
Yeah.
Her name was Talia. She was gorgeous, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
A good, must be a good omen.
In which case, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, Mako, to roll stealth for me.
As a question, if Wolf were there to just sort of help with the stealthing and getting troops around, would he have advantage at that?
Yeah, sure.
Or
Why
would
not?
Wolf have to roll?
I'll say
Okay.
advantage. You know what? Okay, I'll say Wolf. You roll to see if you give Mako advantage. Go ahead.
Stealth too?
Yes.
Ah, boo. Well,
Let's see. Don't mind me while I roll a counter check real quick. Ooh. Okay. Well, off to a start. Thankfully, Mako's first roll is actually pretty good. Oh. Okay. Well.
And can
So-
have a D10 added to it.
Mako, go ahead and roll that D10.
if you want.
Yeah. Mako, go ahead and roll a D10. It might be helpful to you.
Add that D10.
Oh, well, look at that. Just enough, actually. So, Mako, you're sort of like, so we sort of cut to a scene of Mako actually leading a scout party. You are out amongst the dunes of Zor'aa. And there's this, so actually, sorry, let's real quick. We cut to the scene of this open dune. It's a quiet, windy afternoon. The sands blowing in the winds and gusting past as you know, a Zoran devil, a smaller one, a younger one, skitters across the sands and burrows its way into the dirt. A common scene that's not too, you know, it's not too strange in Zor'aa. But then small pockets of those dunes begin to move. And then you realize that they're not sand. Just the off beige of sand-colored cloaks. As Mako Sky and a group of 30 or so Stone Children scouts slowly begin to move their way around the tower. Hoods high, features low. And as Mako, you kind of come up and you look around and make a few hand signs in thieves' cant, indicating the tower is maybe half a click away. You hear in the sort of you feel like a tickle, kind of right back here behind your where your right ear would be if you still had ears. It's a spell matrix that you had Mitz and Lady Temin place on all your scouts so that you all communicate effectively telepathically. You hear the scout team commander just move out, 5-meter spread, no sound. And you all just ghost into silence. In fact, as you all spread out, it's not long before that tan beige of your cloak is picked up by the gusting winds, and you all disappear again into the silence. You appear just at the edge of a high cliff, overlooking the side of the tower wall. In fact, the rear of the tower is kind of built into this cliff face to use as a reinforcing position around it. There are high, an almost half octagonal wall around the outer gate of the tower, with strong points at the places where the vertexes where the walls meet, with large, heavy ballistae loaded with twin massive bolts aimed on each strong point. You can tell by the design they're definitely meant to fire downward at ground-based targets and siege engines, but you're certain any one of them could easily aim up and argue and aim at, say, a blowgun. But they're definitely meant for bigger targets. And they're definitely not made to defend against a lot of attack. They're not, reinforced. Good cannon fire, a hard enough impact, or really just anything. Probably knock one of them down pretty easily. Outside of that, there are regular patrols. You all stay for a few days in perfect stillness, almost. You make a camp and you only light your fires at specific hours of perfect night, where you can effectively create the smoke and have the smoke perfectly wisp away just as the sun crests the horizon. It is organized, regimented, and perfectly executed. Everyone is quiet. No one speaks. You communicate in telepathic links or hand signals and nothing else. You have trained these soldiers to be perfect assassins in this time. And as you all spend several days watching, there's a night that comes as they're all sleeping and resting, and you stand perfectly sentinel, just watching. You see it. Just in that guard rotation. The way they shift through their patrol stances around the walls. There are some places in the strong points where soldiers are meant to hold, like, crossbow firing positions or defensive garrisons. There are some places where those arcs of fire have some very obvious blind spots. Like, if a ladder or a siege tower or something else got close enough, you could probably disgorge troops on the wall relatively safely. Or, if you had the right means, you could just blow a hole in the wall right there. And it's just that you notice that your strike commander comes up. He's just a Sethani. They don't actually know his name. Everyone just calls him Whitetail. He's mostly deep red in color, but the edge of his tail is tapered off like this albino color. It's almost like the color kind of drains from it at the end. People ask him every now and then what happened, but he just never answers it. He comes up, rubs his scarred left eye, just... You see something, Commander?
I think we may have just found our inn.
He offers a dagger-tipped smirk. Do tell.
I gesture, or I point towards the spots on the wall. Do you see where I'm pointing?
He looks over, starts to reply with several hand gestures. They're kind of clipped and quick, but you can easily tell what he's saying. Ladders, indicating siege equipment, like to siege the walls, or explosives.
As it happens, I have some friends who are quite proficient with the latter. Not the ladder, the latter.
Well, pays to have friends, doesn't it?
That it does.
And I'll say that is the first successful move you all get. Let's cut back in time briefly, as that would have happened about a week or two after that. Go back to the table. As Bakali comes back from placing those two scout markers down by the tower. Just, Mako, I'll trust putting you on scout platoon duty in a few weeks or so. I'll already up a Sally out for that. Besides that, what else should we do?
We need help from the Empyreans, I think.
I suppose that's certainly true. They've been in contact with
We're
us.
almost up to the Moth Point. Sorry.
We've been in contact with them for a bit, and they've sent requests for emissary. I just haven't had the time. If some of you would go in my stead.
We'd need someone who knows where your resources are and what promises you can make. I won't be able to really negotiate for you otherwise, but I would like to go.
And that's where Joshua pipes up and just says, and that's where we lay our chips on the table. You see, the truth is, kids, Wadal isn't meant to be in a Dominion city. Wadal isn't even supposed to exist. Remember those cool gems the Emir all had? Sandcaller stones?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They let them manipulate the desert winds, shape the dunes, spread the sands of Zor'aa wherever they feel, or control them to a degree. When he first came to power, Salim al-Draisi washed a curtain of sand over the northwestern lands of Zor'aa. Where Wadal is, used to be a lush, forested utopia. And it used to be the Empyreans. Not saying we gotta do much with it, but maybe we offer it back to them.
What did I say? It all go back to Salim. It's always his fault.
It's all his fault.
This campaign's Reagan.
What did I say?
It's like, alright, that asshole.
All my homies
what
hate
did I
Salim.
say?
Oh god, fuck Salim al-Draisi. All my homies hate Salim al-Draisi. Josh just says, that's our biggest negotiating chip. But even beyond that, just a shot at the Dominion might be enough to offer them something at least. They're a prideful people.
And also smart enough to know they don't want Kali as their next door neighbor. Whether or not they believe in being able to kill this god and absorb it, she is not exactly a friendly person to be next to.
My thoughts exactly. All right, I'll get someone to send off a missive. We'll see if we can get an emissary sent to us. Asha picks up a small token that kind of looks like it's kind of like a coin. Looks like two hands kind of clasping in a handshake of some kind. He places that down over the jungle off to the west and just says, "All right, I'll get to work on that." And I'll say that'll probably take about, I'll say maybe only a few days time for that emissary to be sent out. So before we cut to that scene of that happening, is there anything y'all would do in that few days between, like when Mako gets back from scouting and then the emissary arrives? Is there anything y'all would do in between those few days?
Speaking,
Wolf,
sorry.
you finish. No.
Okay, well, speaking of the stones, it was mentioned that Shayara would likely know where one of them is. That I, at least as a player, don't know. I forget if I missed something or forgot something.
You call him Bay?
Yeah, but I'm gonna call Bay.
Okay, solid. Respect. Ain't no problem with that.
As if you need a
We'll
reason.
just go to, yeah, just a secluded spot.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and pull me into the scene. What happens here?
Yeah. And she'll just go kind of to a secluded spot, just kind of sit on her own, just kind of in silence for a bit, and then just kind of hold her hand out to whatever surface is next to her. She's sitting on the floor, just kind of next to her on the floor, kind of intertwines her hand, Shayara's hand. She begins to connect spiritually. Since then, it's been a while and a lot has happened. It's everything, love.
You notice as you're touching the floor, it's a little cold, not uncomfortably so, just a little bit, but definitely more than it should be. And as you're saying, it's been a while, and I'm sorry I haven't talked to you, how's it been, love? There's smoke leaving your mouth as you're saying this, like it's cold in the air. And that smoke kind of just billows out and gathers in front of you. It takes a roughly humanoid, sort of just almost like roughly human cloud-like shape. And then out of that kind of manifests a very familiar looking blue-skinned face. Just, apologies are not needed, love. I have spent eternity with you. I can wait a bit. How are you?
Well, I am pretty stressed about everything that's happening. It's all happening so fast and is so much larger than anything I could have anticipated from when I came here to.
Of course.
But
I understand you have seen so much in your travels. I have seen how this journey changes you so many times, and it never becomes easy watching the way you grow here. I know you have gone through a great deal. I have never quite found the right words to soothe you, not in all the lifetimes we've shared.
I mean, I think at this point, it's not even words that would soothe me at this point. So it makes entirely too much sense. It's action. I think it's mostly action that we have to take that's going to bring me peace. And it's right now. It's protecting my friends. It's taking down Kali, taking down any threat that's coming to them and you and Ami. Oh, everyone, I guess.
As you
Yeah, before I go on a tangent, there was something specific I did want to ask.
She, as you kind of start to see it run through all this stuff and maybe have a bit of partial anxiety thinking about all the things you're dealing with, you feel a slight hand just squeeze down on yours just a bit, and then gently move your hand sort of in between the two of you. She kind of comes down and offers just the most chaste kiss on your palm, on the reverse of your palm. Just, how may I serve?
And she just like she realizes that she's going too fast, and was like her thoughts are going way faster than her words are. And she just kind of takes a second and breath calms down. There was something about these sand gems that all of the Emir have, and you know, willing the world to be shaped around them. Apparently, one is missing. It's kind of tipped off to ask you about where that might be.
She lets go of your hand, kind of like inverts her palm. And there's a small opal-like gem in the middle of it. You mean this, yes?
Sure. I don't know.
I plucked it off your friend when she transitioned over to my realm. It's a quaint magical trinket. Certainly powerful for the mortal realm. I'm not entirely certain how it was formed, but in the wrong hands, it certainly bestows great power.
That we've learned. That we've learned. Not the easy way.
I'm sorry.
All right, we're hopefully going to be the solution to that.
So I have seen. Nonetheless, did you require this? She holds the gem out.
I guess so. There, I think, is a lot that we could do with this to help our cause, to break down Kali.
Well, I am in a gift-giving mood, so she kind of turns her hand and then she drops it into your palm. You see her look back, look kind of past you for a brief bit, just, yes, quite the gift-giving mood. I'm sorry, love, was there anything else?
I mean, you didn't entirely answer how you're doing.
Forgive me. Things have been busy in my domain. I was, in full transparency, preparing for the end. But a peculiar twist of fate, on behest of you and your friends, gifted me with a conduit. That little friend of yours has quite the most potent little spirit.
He's a fighter.
Indeed. I bound her essence to mine, and together, our collective essences push back the eternity's end that awaits me. I'm not certain the fix will be permanent, and what will become of her when I am gone, I am sorry to say that I cannot know. But, for now, she takes your hand again. I am gifted more time with you.
And I couldn't be happier about that. We'll figure out something, or what any of this means after, you know, there isn't a very large threat of death to all of us. Figure it out.
I have my full faith in you. And I'm a god, that means something.
That's very fair.
Nonetheless, know that what approaches you is your final challenge here, my love. I will do everything that I can to give you and your friends the best chance. But there are things that are outside of my control. From here, fate is your own. Just know that if he wins, if he takes you, I will not be able to bring you into my realm. You will be gone. Forever. So, and you see her kind of hesitate for maybe the first time you've ever seen a god of death do. exactly how this is hard to say when I've said it an uncountable millions of times, but no matter what happens, even if you don't see me in the end, I would have you know that I love you, Zanari.
No matter what, listen, it's obvious. It's obvious that I love you too.
Be safe, please.
I'll try my best.
We will be watching from here. The smoke kind of slowly fills from behind her until it overtakes her form. And as it kind of hazes all about you and passes over you and washes to the floor of the room, she's gone. And I think it's right here that I'm gonna go ahead and have either Wolf or Ploy roll me diplomacy. Either one of you can roll to give the other advantage first, if you'd like.
Okay.
Which rolls diplomacy?
Charisma, usually.
Yeah.
We're great at that. You're
Oh boy. I was actually going to ask if Wolf could, like, make a argument about survival here, and therefore roll survival, but definitely tell me no if no.
How about this? Let's cut to the scene. Play it out and tell me how you justify using survival to talk to these people about their need to fight with you all. And if it works out, I'll let you roll survival. And if it works out, I'll let you Ploy roll survival first to give him advantage. How's that sound?
You don't want to let me roll animal handling?
I don't think they'd be happy with that. So, let's step in. It's a few days out from the planning session. The hot summer sun is beating down on the cave entrance to the Storm Children base as you sit there with a few guards who are waiting in their cloaks, finally dressed and washed and ready. In the distance, you hear a slow clatter of hooves as a party of centaur-like humanoids make their way towards you all. There is about 5 of them in their midst, and at their head is a familiar-looking, bearded face. It's Farthest Wind. He comes up to the group of you all. As he sees the 2 of you specifically, you see him kind of birth a bit of a smile. Hail!
Hail, Farthest Wind, and Wolf will, like, get up and, like, go to give him, like, a big firm handshake, like the kind where you, like, grab someone's forearm, kind of firm handshake.
Yeah, he takes it very simply.
Yeah.
So offers it back to you. Just, you are looking hardy, friend. Have you eaten well?
Oh, well, you know, the cook here is pretty good. Adversity, mostly, that I think helps me grow here. It's a wild place.
He leans over, and in an awkwardly serious face just says, I loved my cook so much I married her. And then slaps your back and just breaks out in a howl of laughter.
A wise man. Wolf's gonna have a good time with that.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna laugh.
Like, laughs with you for a brief moment, and just like looks over and just sees Ploy, offers a wave as well, and just like offers you all kind of just come over and have a look see, check in. And it's not long before you're all kind of brought towards the dining hall. It's kind of been converted into a large open feasting area. A lot of tables have been pushed to the side and moved. There's a lot of open rugs out. A lot of meats and different roasted vegetables have been prepared already by Secret Tinker. And they don't even waste time. The Imperials immediately just come and start like sitting down and just like devouring, picking up haunches of meat and just immediately digging in. And Farthest Wind, just with a haunch of meat in his mouth, just, so, I assume you don't bring us here for idle chatter.
No, friend. We're at the eve of battle, and we have a proposal for you and a reason for taking it.
The woman who smells like the void. I have seen her.
Yes, that is our reason for our battle, but we have some for you.
Hmm?
The proposal is that you, and as many men as you can bring, help us attack her tower, prevent her from absorbing a god and becoming unstoppable. In exchange, I've been told by my friends here in the Storm Children that we can give you back the lands that were taken by Wadal. We're working on a way to possibly restore them, but we can't do that until we have Kali gone, as she is the one who prevents us from giving them to you in the first place.
The ancestral lands were lost to us many moons ago. It is a wonder that tale is still told around these parts. I would think the snake folk had forgotten us by now.
They offered it. I had no knowledge of this either.
The one who smells of void is a threat to the forests. She would see our domains beset, pitch this world into something beyond blackness.
You fought her?
I have seen her in combat. Even before whatever she became now, she was fierce. When the Sand Taker came and brought the dunes to swell up my domains, pushed us from our ancestral homelands, she was at the vanguards of his legions. I saw her cut down many of my soldiers. She is a potent foe.
You've crossed blades twice now. And I'm sure you understand that you gain a measure of someone when you fight them.
The only way to do so, truly.
My reason for... The reason I give you for joining us is that I know, without a shadow of a doubt, that she will not stop. Not here in Zor'aa, not at your forests, not at the edges of the ocean, not even to the far northern lands I come from. She will not be satisfied, she will not be reasoned with. This is the place and time we can still fight her, and she's still vulnerable. My reason is survival.
There are whispers in the old tales that in the time before, all the many tribes, the pink skins of the east, the green folk of the south, us Superians, the scaled ones, the stout folk in the mountains. There are rumors of a time we all hunted together. We brought a great beast low, sent it running back to its den. It was many ages before I was born, but all know of this tale where I am from. Mayhap it is time for new tales to be written. And I'm going to go ahead and say, Ploy, if you want to add anything here, you can totally add something to the competition and then roll to give Wolf an advantage on his check here. Otherwise, Wolf, go ahead and roll survival.
Fuck, dude, I mean, I feel like Wolf already covered everything. Like, you know, this was your land to begin with. It's about time you got it back, no?
I like the way you think. And yeah, I'll take that. Why not? So, Ploy, go ahead and roll to see if you give Wolf advantage.
Sure. That is... What, we said survival?
Yeah, please.
Cool. There you go.
18 will succeed. Wolf, go ahead and roll survival with advantage to convince the Empyreans to join the war effort. A follow-up 18. Counter roll.
Oh.
Well, there's a long moment of quiet where the Empyrean farthest wind just leans forward with his haunch of meat, just working on that while just looking at you two. Just throws the bone away, rips off another haunch of meat. Just after several minutes of silence, after he not only finishes the one he was working on, but eats an entire other haunch of meat. After several minutes, he's just like, We will ride with you.
They'll tell excellent stories of us, friend.
They will sing of us long into the afterlife. Come then! This is no time for battle planning and strategy talk. Let us drink and feast!
Wolf's gonna get as big of a mug as he can, and yep, be like, how into the cups can he get his new centaur friend?
Oh yeah,
that's the plan.
Oh yeah, he is. You'll find that he is quite the drinker, to the point where he is just slamming back flagons. Like gets up and starts walking around, and like any other Empyreans around, he just snatches flagons from them, and it's just like, no, this is mine. Throws it back at them. Like he is hammering it back. But he's watching it down.
I imagine he has a mass advantage, so I totally understand.
And so I'll go ahead and
It was
say
like half his size.
that's action 2. We'll cut back to the table as Joshua places down the symbol of 2 hands clasping to represent negotiation with the Empyreans. Macaulay says, "Clever thinking, Wolf. Is there more?"
Let's get those bloat whales armored up and ready for battle.
Josh is like,
They need some protection. We don't really want our god beast friend mad at us.
agreed. And even beyond that, aerial superiority would be nice. We shouldn't just get them armored. We should get them armed.
Think Secret's got any tinkering ideas?
I'll see what I can do. Give me a moment.
I mean, if they're armored, we could almost just get cannonballs without the cannons and fly them high enough and drop them.
Just drop them.
Yep.
Hey,
God.
wait! I have a thought. What if we just do we have any kind of like they don't have to be fancy, but if we could get some metal shells, have some arcane fire around them, or just fill them up with fireballs and just drop them on the tower?
You asking to put a bomb bay on the bloat whales?
Yes.
Yeah, this honestly sounds like that one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where like
We
the
have a
flying
very
peeps in
special
the air
birthday
temple
to celebrate.
and the water is like drop the stuff. That's what it sounds
I was just
like.
being very serious about the fact that we could be literally a mile in the air and drop just cannonballs
Yeah,
on
that
them. We don't
too.
need anything
I mean, we
fancy.
could float it.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Like,
say one of you who has not already rolled, so that means it's only 2 of you available currently who can do this. Roll me a d20.
Just a d20.
Just the regular.
I mean, I've
old
already
D20.
rolled a crit and a 1, so I think maybe not Mitz.
In that case, it sounds like it's fallen to you, Z. What you got for us?
Okay. Oh. Can I guide myself?
What'd you roll?
Well, I have to roll it first. Let's see, a d20. That's a 12.
Yes, you can guide yourself.
Okay. Plus the d4. 2. 14.
Beats it.
Hey, I was gonna say there's no bonus to that, but like,
Yeah.
So, it's a quick cut to a few weeks later. It's actually not this scene will probably happen. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna save that. Let's cut to your next action real quick. As Nikali is just like, actually, as you're all talking about this, Secrets just kind of walks by and just, I have thoughts on that. I'll work. You'll see plans soon. And just like skitters back out of the room towards the armory, like he's very focused on the thought he just had.
Hey.
Let's
always
go ahead.
wonderful to see someone who makes wonderful devices be excited about making something. Wolf says, just thinking like, aha.
Yeah.
Well, you got 3 actions left. What's next?
Manacles, I believe, are next, but
Yeah.
Wolf would not be going to
Those
bring that up.
manacles.
Once we're inside the prison, or once we're inside the tower, we'll still need a way to deal with those manacles. Emin, how confident are you in this plan of yours?
Well, I have been doing some digging. I have a thought, but I do believe I'll have to do some revision into some older lore. It's tough to consider, but I'm pretty sure The spell matrix to maintain the lock on these spells is being held up by one person. I'll give you 2 guesses on who.
What's his face? That annoying ass sorcerer that we also want to stab a lot, maybe?
And take steel, probably.
Got it.
That's
Yeah,
one
that's his
thing.
name.
That's also a huge security risk. One guy? Alright.
Single
Well,
point of
it's
failure.
a measure of things, but one, the level of magic needed to maintain focus on this spell while also functioning as a normal person every day, it's simply a measure of how strong steel simply is with spellcraft. They can maintain focus on that spell at all times while working other magics as powerful as he does. Nakali perks up and just says, that does give me more of a thought. And if you don't mind, not to give it away, but this is not related to the manacles. Y'all are going to get those for free. It will consume the action, but it's without the roll. The roll, however, then I'm going to ask the only person who hasn't rolled today yet, Mitz. Give me a d20 real quick.
Oh boy. Let's hope my shit luck goes. Christ.
I will
Great.
say... counter roll. Ha!
What did you
Nakali just says, I believe I may be able to fit that in my plan. Just know that I have thoughts on how to, at the very least, weaken those manacles. How we get all of them off at one wave, or if there's some plan around that, that's up to you all. But I believe I can weaken the magical bonds around them. I have thoughts. Just wait. And I think we'll pass that.
Decay? Like, Mitz is like, just thinking, is like, because the ley lines of Zor'aa are attuned towards necromancy, right? And it's like, that's decay. If you could decay the spell matrix, that would slow down it. Or at least, maybe weaken the bindings.
And if you could perhaps send out some wave of this weakening force, we could loosen the bonds on all the prisoners inside the tower at once, or at least a strong portion of them.
I think I actually might be able to help there.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
And
Well, I would need to do another ritual to prepare this, but the spirits that I talk to frequently are capable of potentially forming a type of negative energy flood.
Huh.
Possibly do that.
The powers of a
Out
storyteller
of game,
are
it's a
incredible.
spell called negative energy flood.
Nah.
The powers of a storyteller are incredible. Bang on that. We may be able to follow that plan, but it will require some contingencies. I'll follow up with you all.
not to mention there are quite a few spells associated. For example, there's a couple of ley line. If I can just tap into the ley line.
There are... Yes, I have a thought. Let's just say that in recent days, I've become attuned to some new allies. There is one who I'm not 100% certain how to contact, but they may be helpful in the endeavor we need undertaken here. I'll give you more follow-up updates on that if I can. Nonetheless, is there more I could have you do? And that's I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's your, what's that, your fourth action?
Fourth, yep.
You have
Yep.
2 left. What's next?
Well, this is maybe another scene, but well, it's like, hey, we need to ask probably Tinker secrets, if not other of the Hashari we have here. What's the deal with the Hashari right now? And possibly use that to guide our next actions.
As you say Hashari, you hear some shuffling from the end of the hallway, and walking past as he was headed by, it's Bugboy, your friend.
Hey.
Oh boy!
Stops and just says, "Excuse me?"
You were actually exactly the man that we need to talk to. And Wolf would like gesture to a seat next to him.
He
He'd
comes
pull one
over
up.
and says, "It's a pleasure to see you all."
How are you doing with the books?
Well, he waves his hands, and you'll see around his hands an almost sort of pale curtain of like star haze forms with distinct sort of mini constellations all around the nebulae of it. It's a quick little wave of the hands, and then he kind of just collapses it. I have been learning the ways of the stars.
Wonderful.
I thank
You've
you
made
for the
so much
patience.
progress.
You flatter me. Thank you. I hear you all talking about Hashari. Is there some way I can help?
Yes, we need to know why your people have allied with Kali.
He crestfalls almost immediately. Well, it's simple. She has her proverbial foot on the hive's neck. There is little we could do to stop her. He leans forward and kind of puts his elbows down on the table, looks down towards the floor. Definitely you can tell that his mood has shifted dramatically since you brought that up. Where do I begin?
Beginning is usually a good start.
Do any of you have mothers? They're a thing I've heard about since my time on the surface. From what I
Yes,
understand,
generally all of us.
the connection is what's deeper than simply the one that brings you into this existence. It's a bond. One that protects and secures, and one that it ensures that one is supposed to care for you, even if the whole universe is out to get you. Imagine that feeling magnified 1,000-fold. A deep, internalized personal connection to the only individual who can bring people like you into life. A person who you swear your eternal service to. That is the connection all Hashari have to our queen. And she is dying. I am not certain what the ailment is. It took her one moon, and she has been losing her vitality for the years since. The tenders and maintenance workers, they do what they can to heal her, but many of us know it may only be a matter of time. The Dominion promised some sort of cure. Salim and his scientists had devoted many piles of gold and many moons of research towards looking into antidotes and cures for our queen's ailment. It appeared he would follow through on his promise. And then someone killed him. From there, we waited, hoping we would hear some news of what would happen then. I was in the throne room when Kali came before the queen. Her statement was simple. The hive would serve her, or she would butcher our queen in front of us. You can understand why we chose the former. I don't know if there is any way to save our queen. But we are all held at a knife's edge tip at Kali's whim until we can do something to save her. I will not lose my mother to a butcher.
We'd be happy to help to prevent that.
I thank you, friend. I don't know how this information may serve you, but now that I have told you one of the deepest secrets of the Hive, what you do with that information is, well, it's up to you. I hope only that you use it wisely. I feel it best I go return to my studies now. I sent you all much to think about. Apologies if I have dampened the mood some.
It's important to say.
It is.
There is one thing that may perhaps lighten your spirits. I picked a name. Well, someone picked one for me. He doesn't say who, but you can kind of see him look away for a brief moment. You may call me Starlight Eyes.
Oh.
Very good to know.
Be well, friends.
It is nice
Before-
to meet you, Starlight.
Before Starlight leaves, Mitz's does not like I guess like you can see like Mitz is very torn about this, but especially because like Starlight revealed his name as well Starlight Eyes, and well, she turns over to him and says, "This might not quite help your queen, but and she'll turn over to Nga while also thinking through, like just pulling this information, starts scribbling out a spell matrix. It's Raise Dead. It's a 5th level necromancy spell. It's like, this won't stop your queen from dying, but if she dies, and one of your people can cast the spell within the time, she should return. And it will neutralize any sort of poison or non-magical disease that's affecting her. But if it's magical, then you'll have to find a different solution."
Even if it's not much, this means more to me than you know. If it pleases you, Commander, he looks over at Nikali, I would take leave to go entreat with my people. Mayhap I can share this. Nikali just nods and says, "We have enough hands around here, Starlight. Feel free." He just nods, and then kind of just turns and begins to shuffle away.
I think we'll...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, he was just gonna say, hey, so on that, thoughts on dealing with this problem, how viable it is to find the research that they were doing on this disease, and maybe we can know for sure if it's magical or not, whatever this ailment is. He says to the group, because he has no idea where they'd be researching that.
Exactly. I don't know who
Yeah.
or where, but it could be a good thing if, no sickness, no hostage situation.
Would it be
like-
more viable to try and rescue the queen first, and then figure that out second? Just get her
Yeah.
in a safe place.
And I guess like Mitz will say, like, as a last resort, Ami's curse it'll keep her alive, but she'll be turned to stone. But she'll be
Until we
living
can
stone
Figure it out.
and immortal.
Mitz, do me a favor. Can you roll me one more d20 real quick?
Okay.
Uh,
We'll see if my crappy luck pans out again.
it's above average at least.
It is above
Yeah.
average.
What you got?
And
Above
11 is
average.
above average.
11. Let me counter roll.
You
Well,
added to your
Or
last roll.
or
That's a
rolls.
20.
Fam, listen,
Ah.
y'all are getting some kind of luck. I won't say whether it's good or bad, but y'all getting some kind of luck tonight.
Right.
We'll cut back to that later, because there was gonna be a small little scene for that. But given the role, no, I think it's best I just save that for a fun little. Let's just say something happens with the Hashari that we'll definitely see a return to, probably next session.
Amazing.
Not
Love
to
to
leave
see
y'all
it.
on that as a cliffhanger, but except to do exactly that. Y'all have one action left, and we are rapidly approaching our end time. And I have maybe one or so scenes I want to get to before the end. So you have a single action left. What would you like to do?
Well, if we don't have anything else that we can do with the Hashari, do we want to find more troops?
We did
Yeah.
say we were going to look through the, possibly see if any of the Emir are alive and if we can rally there.
So, I'm gonna say that I'm looking for a total number here, and it's convenient because there are 5 of you, so it's possible, so the number can be out of 100. Everyone here, roll me a d20 real quick.
Oh boy.
Just a D20.
Just a
All
flat out
right.
Boy.
d20.
Me and my fucking shit luck.
Let's see.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh.
Roll a 17 for once!
Oh no.
Let's see. Alright, hold
I
on.
go-
Hold on, I gotta add. Calm down.
Gotta do some maths.
9 and 1 is 10. 10 and 16 is
Between me and Sir
26.
Heck, we got average.
26. 26
Yeah.
and 17 is 36, 37, 43. Plus an 11 is
54.
54.
We did better than average somehow.
All right. So, you are, and how do you think you guys would go about this? Do you think you'd be sending out troops to like contact an Emir, or would you guys be like going out on your own to look for any hints to like Emir who survived?
I feel like at least Mako should probably go try to find the
Yeah.
Mir Call.
There's nothing really left for us, or at least me, to do at the Storm Children base, so I'm down to like go looking.
Yeah, Wolf's plan for going looking would actually be quite particular. I assume that we have sort of like general information on troop movements.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a collection where a lot of troops are fighting Kali and they're not ours, Wolf would want to find that place and just start sniffing around, literally, for the smell of any of the Emir that he remembers.
You know, it's actually a pretty fun last scene for us. I like this. Okay, so
You know,
So-
maybe Ploy comes with him. Hunting bros, I'm the guy.
Yeah, we'll say Ploy and Wolf, you two go out. Actually, you know what? I'll say all of you. Why not? All of you, the 5 of you, go out on a scouting patrol looking for an area. And Wolf, you actually do get reports from the Kali and some other scouts that there is a pocket in a valley, in a low dune valley, off to the sort of like northwest corner, not far from Saif. And you're like, and you do get reports that there is some. Kali's been having some trip-ups there, some slight troubles there, reportedly. And so you all march out with some scouts and some troops just to go poke around, get some sniffs. And you're not seeing much as you enter this high valley. But Joshua, who is near with you all, does say, easily defensible location. If anyone's been giving Kali trouble, they're definitely around. And as he says that, you all hear a "Who?" from across the valley, and then you hear a shifting of metal. And as you look, on either side of the valley is a row of about 30 or 40 soldiers with round shields and curved spears, like a spear with a curved tip, that fall into formation. And at their hest, leaned over the sort of side of the crest here is a man. He's dressed in a sort of fine, loose-fitting robe. But the thing that makes him the most recognizable, besides the smell, is the row of large beads in a circle around his left shoulder. It's Radash.
Oh.
He says, "By the divine, who'd think I'd be seeing you all again?"
I know,
That's
right?
our line.
I was pretty sure you were dead.
I should be. He hasn't moved from up on the ridge. So, you all cleaning up Kali's dirty work? Picking off the last of the Emir?
Not
Quite
entirely.
the opposite,
no.
actually.
He tilts his head.
See, I mean, Colin needs to die.
You're half right. We do intend to clean up Kali.
Yeah.
I sense there's more to this than just killing her, though, yes?
Quite a bit.
He's
It's a
become
long
a problem of a scale beyond any petty squabble we had.
I sense it. The winds are in
Oh, want to help?
The fates are shifting. Kali has always been a loose cannon, but her actions now are taking her, all of us, far beyond the pale.
And we intend to stop her.
And you intend to requisition my assistance in this?
Wouldn't hurt.
The Storm
Yeah.
Children would, of course, want a certain amount of negotiating power when it's all done. But I think that's a small price to pay for preventing the end of the world.
Well, therein lies the problem, friends. I am no longer an Emir. We, me, and these 400 so men that fight by my side, we are all dead. We have been for so very long. We are ghosts in this desert. But even from beyond the grave will we exact our vengeance. We haunt these dunes. We will bleed the Blade Mistress. However,
Sounds like a
understanding,
yes.
ghosts-
if you were asking
My
for
understanding
negotiating
that
power,
ghosts-
Sorry,
God damn it.
my fault, go ahead. Do it again, twice.
Discord
Absolutely.
moments.
My understanding that ghosts often have some unfinished business on the mortal plane. How'd you like us to help you settle your affairs?
Tell me, men. How badly do we want Kali dead? You'll see each of them at the same instance just clang their shields against their spears against their shields in one motion, and it echoes across the entire valley. Good enough answer?
I don't know the scale of that response. Is 1 yes and 2 no?
When are you attacking and where?
Is that Wolf asking that?
Yes, Wolf.
Do we have a when yet?
Soon.
It'll,
have a
it'll, be,
where.
it'll be soon. We know where. It's the tower. The tower's got to go.
Bold. But it either plays out well, or we're all dead anyway.
Thankfully, your job will be similar to what you do here. Bleed her dry while we go for the killing blow.
He looks between you all. You intend to hold her at siege.
Mm-hmm.
Clever. Admirable plan. Given your options, I'd probably do the same. Very well. You have our blades.
And you are thanks.
Thank me when that bitch is dead. He gets up from sitting on the ledge, turns and begins to kind of walk. As he walks back, some of the soldiers part to let him through. Now be gone from my valley. We disappear. And as the mist haze kind of settles over the dunes, the soldiers each in unison climb the shields again, and then slowly begin stepping backwards, disappearing in the mist.
One is a yes. Yeah, okay. One is a yes. All right.
That's the yes.
It's like Mitz is like kind of just like fascinatingly like thinking about like, is this like a natural phenomenon because how Zor'aa is just naturally attuned to necromancy, and it's just like muttering about like,
Oh no, they're
how
not
is this
actually
even
dead.
possible?
This is a conversation. No, they're not actually dead. It's a metaphor. They feel like they're dead.
I mean, yeah. I feel like they'd be a lot more,
I love
dead
this
if they
moment
were
though
dead.
of being like,
you ever
no,
seen
no.
Dragon Prince? Kind of like that.
The old play, Dragon Prince.
He's like, no, actually, you should go sometime.
Well, besides you guys making fourth wall breaking references,
I wasn't gonna.
if there is nothing else, you all head back to the base aboard Wyverns. As you are flying, keeping to the clouds, you hear just this hard bleeding, bleat as the air around you all kind of rumbles. It's a sound kind of like a bloat whale, actually. And as you all hear this, you avert your wyvern as the clouds begin to deform and shape a bit like something is piercing through them. And as you're doing that, you notice there is not one big bloat in the cloud cover. There is two, and then three, and then four, and then another, and another. As you all watch, as behind your group of wyverns, 7 bloat whales, Durga at their hest, rise up. Their wing plates, their heads and crowns, their backs are adorned in plates of wood and metal. And at their backs are rows and rows of cannons. You all have an armada prepared for this. And as you all go to land, you all know the time rapidly approaches. Just as you crest down below the cloud cover and see, outside of the base, a hive of motion, campfires, forge heats going, towers being structures being built, caravans being loaded up, as the Storm Children and the ghosts of Zor'aa and the Empyrean War Riders and all of your allies from all across Zor'aa ready themselves for war. And before we get to an end here, I'd like to give you all one last small scene. It's a valley, somewhere in Zor'aa. The sands left away as small curtains against hard, dark stone. But not the off-brown sandstone you are accustomed to seeing beneath the sands of Zor'aa. This color is almost pitch black. The sound around is like screaming voices reaching out to a void they haven't quite crossed over yet. As ancient bones of a thing too dead to be remembered sift and rest in their final place. Nakali bin Talib, now champion of Shayada, walks with her dark armor on and a hood over her head as she moves through this valley to a small cave. She comes before a cold brazier, opens a small bag at her hip, lifts a handful of some powdery substance, drops it into the brazier, holds her hand over it, and it erupts in purple flame, casting off violet shadows down to the cavern, and just barely illuminating as they almost blend into the shadows and crevasse curves of this large cavern. 4 hooded figures. One speaks up without leaving his hood. You are blessed by our patron. What would you ask of us? Nakali says, I ask very little, and I come bringing only one thing. A target. You see that one hooded figure nod, and almost as if they fade back into the blackness, those 4 hooded figures disappear. Secrets to Tinker is sitting in the tower. He has a higher level position than others, so he rests at one of the upper levels, a window overlooking the wide dunes of Zor'aa. Soon, his chosen mistress will own and control all of this, and then he will have true power. He sits filing out troop reports and dealing with the logistics of waging a war against your entire former dominion, when a chill runs down his spine just temporarily. He ignores it. It's late in the night. The moon is high and the winds are blowing. He should head to his bed soon. And as he leans down to pen down one last line of notes, he looks down to see the end point of an onyx black dagger and a voice in the back of his head as a second and a third and a fourth blade place themselves at a point that would kill him instantly and silently. And a voice whispers into his ear. The head that creeps into his side his head is Sethani, but it's old, almost rotted to a degree, pallid like death. It's scarred, and the eyes are all black. He has a hood about his head, inscribed with signatures and symbols of a skull, the denoted symbol of the goddess Shayada. And he says, "Let me reacquaint you with death." And the next morning, as Kali awakens, she knows those pesky rebels are planning something. She has waited day in and day out for the day she awakens to see an army coming over that hill. And today was her lucky day. As bloodthirsty joy fills her, as she realizes that a siege is coming her way, she walks up the high stairs, approaching the chamber of her attendant, her court mage, as she likes to call him. And she smells blood in the air. She opens the door to find a Ashari male, his robe open, his body laid back, his throat, chest, and stomach ruptured open by fine blade points. And Kali rages. Friends, this has been the Seven Sons. I'd like to thank all of you for coming to hang out with us, and my players for being fucking amazing. This was quite a session. So, your allies are gathered, your resources are prepared, Hand Takes Steel is dead, and the battle for the tower
We didn't even get the fight on.
is on.
Fair, though. Honestly.
I'm gonna say
We should
before
talk
we
about
head
it.
out, are there
Mhm.
thoughts? What are we thinking right now?
We need to talk to those assassins and how they got in there.
Yeah.
Like, excuse? Like, yeah,
Don't
mage
worry.
I guess
squishy,
we
but
don't-
also like, wow.
You'll meet them next session. Don't worry.
Yeah. Other than that, Wolf's hype. He's
Yeah.
ready to go. He's pumped. He's never done a war before.
Well, it's time to war. Other thoughts?
Archaeology, buddy, what are we getting into?
I don't know anymore.
War,
On
apparently.
the war.
Uh,
So good
It's
luck
like,
with
we're archaeologists! What are we doing?
I didn't sign up for this at
So
all.
was Indiana Jones. It worked out for him.
Yeah.
Y'all also have the power to warp reality with your words and or brain, so I feel like this is just a natural arc of being really good at magic.
that. We're just archaeologists. Are actual gods. Okay.
Listen, we're never gonna be used to it.
We're not even gods of archaeology.
No, honestly,
Somehow.
Wolf has just the same opinion of like powerful wizards as he does of gods. Of like, yep, that seems pretty cool and powerful. He was convinced y'all would be this powerful just from the word go. It's like, yeah, you can say a word and fire happens. It's not archaeology. That's power. Anyways,
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed our last RP heavy session for probably less of the campaign, to be honest. So, before we pass our way out, actually, let's do outros real quick. In overlay order, as I call you out, tell the people who you are, who you played today, where on the internet you can be found, and what other things you have coming up in the future. Starting, of course, with Lana Dan.
Hi. He just told you who I am. But I played Mako Sky, the possessed floating rogue suit of armor Warforged. And you can find me on Twitter at LandTheDan.
Fair enough.
Is iPod not working?
It actually might not be.
It's Dan. Yeah.
Oh.
Happens. We'll fix it. Don't worry about it. In any case, passing it
Oh,
on
it
Anyway.
should be.
to...
Well,
go ahead. And then, was it down?
Well, as far as stuff I've got coming up, I've got this, which will presumably be 2 weeks from now. And that's about it.
For
Unless
now.
I decide to do something on my own,
Mm.
which is unlikely.
Well, from there we're passing it off to Michelle.
Hi. Once again, Foxxii already told you my name. So there's that. I played Midstone Quaddle, our Quaddle Folk Wizard. I remembered it correctly this time. I didn't have to take like 5 seconds to,
You good at-
to parse
sorry,
it out of
are
my
you
Sure though? Are you sure?
he got it. It's not-
I got it. Let's see. You can find me once again here in 2 weeks on our Seven Sons campaign, but you can also find me. I will be GMing a Blade's Will, was it Alliance of Heaven on December 2nd.
Some shit's gonna happen.
Yes, it'll be. Oh, yeah. I have shit planned. I'm going to be surprised if people make it out alive.
You want to be there. Trust me. Trust and believe me. You want to be there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's gonna be intense. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, moving from there, Luciano.
Hey yo, it's me. I'm Lucian. I played our boy Play, our lizard folk that likes to throw stuff.
That's what he does.
You can find me
Also,
in the
today he threw
Discord
feelings.
sometimes. and nowhere else because I don't stream anymore, and I don't do other forms of social media.
Well, great
very
plug so
solid.
far, guys. Really loving these. Let's keep it going.
I feel bad, like with what's coming up here now for mine. Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. Today I played Z or Zenari, the Kalashtar College of Spirits Bard. You can find me on all of the social medias at Sir Heckalot. So Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that stuff. Just find me somewhere, and then you can figure the rest out. In terms of where you can see me, just like streaming TTRPGs, on TPK Roleplay, I do every other Tuesday and every other Thursday. D&D campaign, so Odyssey of the Dragon Lords on Tuesday, and then Tyranny of Dragons on Thursday. And of course, you can find me here. But yeah, this is, oh my gosh, I just realized that this is like an all-org member game now, which is
legit.
pretty lit.
Yo, it's
Hey,
wild.
Yeah.
We out here. Yeah, we were gonna make
That's
more
really
talk
cool.
about that later, but we made the announcement. So Sarek is officially our newest Neon Lights org member. So we're super proud to
Hello.
welcome her to the team officially, and she's already been a super great help, like helping us reorganize our Twitch page. If you look down below us on Twitch here, you'll see we have some new panels up. That is totally courtesy of Sarek and her awesomeness. Anything else that she does that is awesome and helpful for us, you will see. You have already seen bits and pieces of her work if you see our promo screen / loading screen we have for a Blade's Will with the super awesome samurai ninja symbol with the guy in the middle of it. That was all Hex doing. Super cool looking. So anything else that she does for us, overlays, logos, or anything else, you will all be the first to know and see, but we are super happy to welcome her on. She's been family to us already for a while. Those times we make that official, you know? So we're super happy to have you. And can't wait to see what you pull out of us, you know?
So wholesome. It's so good. So
Yeah.
thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's gonna be a pretty like quiet rest of the year in terms of TTRPG streaming for me. So that's about it. Let's move on over to Tate.
Hey, she said the name. Hi, my name's Tate Washburn. I played Wolf, the shifter beast barbarian who's just, excited. He's just excited and friendly all the time, but also about what's happening right now. You can find me at kinda_writing on Twitter, where I'm mostly talking about tabletop, fantasy, politics, memes, bunch of random stuff. What you should actually do is follow this channel's Twitter, Neon Lights Our Play, where we announce all the cool stuff that we're going to do. I am obviously going to be here in 2 weeks, and I am planning a new campaign with these people and more people, actually. We'll announce on that Twitter or on our Discord, which you should definitely go to. All that good stuff, and we will keep you posted there. We also do some other fun stuff, like, talking about tabletop and writing and memes and things, so you should check it out. It'd be good.
Time. I like overshare very frequently in the Discord. Everyone catch like some wild Foxxii stories. Just like come hang out. It's wonderful. Speaking of which, folks, I've been Young Foxxii, aka Big Foxxii, also known as your current and only favorite Fox. You can find me on Twitter sphere at Big Foxxii. That's BIG_FOXXII. I don't go to right wingers. I slay fascists. I have a great time doing it, and you can come along for it if you'd like to. As far as places you can see me, it's weird. I am doing a lot of GMing coming up, but not a whole lot of playing. But after a certain, possibly mildly inflammatory tweet of mine, people decided to hit my inbox for things. So possibly,
What did you do?
I will be popping up on Penny for a Tale for a Pathfinder campaign sometime soon. I won't say anything more about that until they do that. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I said some stuff on Twitter, so maybe people will get their heads out of their asses and invite me to games now. Who knows? And maybe they won't, and I can keep talking shit. But beyond that, you'll catch me around here a lot. Like Tate said, we have new campaigns coming up. At least 1 or 2 of them, probably 2. I am running. They are going to be exciting and very, very fun. So we're building up towards those. A lot of other new fun things. Like Michelle said, we have a Blade's Will coming forward, and we have been working on that. A lot of really fun shit planned for that. And just otherwise, we're going to try to fill up the gap between our new campaigns and where we are now with a lot of things. Before we head out tonight, and we're going to throw our raid, I'm pretty sure, as was planned, over to Hard Knock Dice, because that was what we talked about, assuming they're still alive. So,
They are.
cool, then we'll set that up. And while I'm setting that up, I do want to make one thing very clear. I gave you guys several hints through name changes before the stream started today. There was one that I told you guys up front was the most important hint y'all need to be aware of. Anybody remember what that was?
There's three possible endings.
Mm-hmm. And there was a thing that I told y'all was a reality as a result of today's game. Do y'all remember what that was?
Several
If we-
things.
Yep. But if we ended up with the path that had only one path, we could possibly say fuck it to fate.
So, what I told y'all specifically, and Michelle, you're right, but what I told y'all specifically was there were 3 possible endings for Seven Sons overall. 5 to begin with, and y'all already eliminated 2 possibilities. There are 3 left. There were 3 left. As of this moment, there is 1.
You said there was one specific thing we had to do, and I wanted to know what it was. What did we do?
We might have to
Maybe
wait
talk
till
about it
the
at the
end
end.
of the campaign.
Fuck. I hate that. I'm not good at waiting.
I can tell you.
Shit.
We limited the endings by planning instead of being emotional at the table.
No.
Yeah.
I can tell you specifically what thing you guys. Specifically, I'll say this. It was not a move you guys made, like in that last action phase. It was not a move you guys made that gave y'all this one ending. There were 2 things that happened today that limited endings. One was an action directly taken by. Sorry, I gotta remember who actually took the action. Sorry. One was an action directly taken by Mako. One thing that was gained. It wasn't the thing you did. It was basically a thing that you gained during an action you took, that effectively allowed one ending to not be a possibility. The other thing that happened is, let's just say, someone who was keeping their eyes on the board and the way all the pieces were aligning decided he liked the way things were shaping up and wasn't going to play around with them toward the end. That's all I can say about that.
Punch him in the face.
Maybe. Regardless, there is officially 1 possible ending remaining for Seven Sons. However, as I have said, actions you all can take can possibly shift that away entirely to the point where there are no planned endings and the ending becomes whatever y'all make of it. Having said that, and this is where those of you who are in chat get to know this last little bit before we clock out here. There are, as of this moment, 2 sessions of Seven Sons remaining. The raid on the tower will be the penultimate session, as you all attack the tower and confront Shem. From there, you face down Kali, and ideally, bring an end to all of this. You are all officially in the endgame, and thus, I will welcome you all to level 12.
Hey.
With that,
Sweet.
I believe we have our setup already good to go. I'm going to start my raid over to Hard Knock Dice, because there they are, playing some D&D.
Yeah, look at you guys. I can't wait for
Wow.
you all to see their map. Oh my god, it's
It does
cool.
look pretty dope. I'm liking it.
What a bunch of nerds playing D&D.
Right.
Yeah,
we're
imagine.
playing
Who
D&D.
does
Ooh,
that?
imagine doing that. In any
know,
case,
right?
Imagine us playing the Bad Dragon game.
thank you all for tuning in to the Seven Sons. I have been Young Foxxii. These have been the adventurers I have gathered with me. You guys have been wonderful. I love this campaign. I cannot wait to bring it to an end. Go send Hard Knock Dice some love. Tell them we care about them. We'll see you all in the future. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.